I want to start before everyone's ready.
My nipples are hard. I'm ready.
Don't worry about it. Okay, that's good. I like your game face. It's good. I like your energy. Now is everyone super ready though? Nips, bricks, nips aside.
Yes.
All right, then I'm gonna start a minute ago.
Yes, I've noticed you started streaming.
What? No. Come on
You
now.
salty spagooter.
I didn't do anything like that. You're crazy.
I see it. I'm on Twitch.
No,
you can't lie to
see,
me.
You see nothing at all. I am as innocent as a baby dove's behind.
Okay.
Ah, so you admit you're guilty.
Right.
Damn it, she knows. All right, so I guess I'll start it with hey Bibbs, what's going on? I guess I'll start it with the same old question I ask every podcast: is are there any stories that people are super interested in that they want to tackle right out the gate?
I'd like to talk about the whole Microsoft rebranding and the whole Xbox Live for Switch. That seems pretty cool.
All right, let's start off with that then.
We should have introduced ourselves first, but you know.
Right, I forgot about that. Okay, sure. We'll do it by the book. All right, so I suppose we'll go down the line
Yes.
in order and
Yes. Call me Berto here to deliver more news to your face.
Nice.
Hello, Halo here. That's it. I'm tired.
So, folks, this is Brick Me coming at you to slap you with some news in the face like your mama.
Indeed.
Y'all are so violent today.
I'm angry.
I like
I'm delivering.
I like the energy.
I'm Luna Waffle.
I'm just here to be here.
He's
Hi
media.
here.
Shut your face.
Meaty.
They can't ever know. All right. So we want to start with the Microsoft Studios rebranding to Xbox Game Studios. So Microsoft Studios seems to have, I think it was last E3, 2018's E3, where they were like, guess what? We bought up all of these cool game studios and we're digesting them into our big old mass. And we were like, that's an interesting endeavor. Tell us more, Mr. Microsoft.
Delish.
Exactly. Let me turn on the display capture just so everyone can have a look-see at the article.
And they're turning it more and more of their entire structure into a service model. Well, they're actually doing support for Switch and all other mobile devices coming soon.
So,
Okay, what does that mean exactly?
yeah.
Well, it looks like for now, just to going into this a little bit, they're trying to add more devices to their whole Xbox family. For now, they're doing Switch and other mobile devices. They're probably trying to do more of a service type thing and try to get the whole Xbox brand on every device known to man.
Yeah, so what exactly would it mean for the Xbox brand, quote unquote, to be on a Switch of all things, like a competitor's console? I know there's like achievement integration that you can have with some cross-platform games that are on the Switch. You can like earn Xbox achievements while playing Switch games, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But do they have like what else do? They have like voice chat services that they're extending to the Switch as well for like cross-play titles there, or
Well, honestly, I feel like the whole move is about consumer perception of the brand. Because when you think about Xbox, for me, I think about what had happened a few years ago when the Xbox One was announced. I mean, it was a complete crash. Like, they came out and everything. Halo was discussing it last week or the week before. It was completely anti-consumer with the privacy rules and the check-in and the limitations on used games and things like that, licensing and whatnot. And now it seems like that they've kind of opened their doors to a lot more consumer-friendly practices because they took a hit. I mean, PlayStation outsold them 4-1, 5-1, mainly because of the way that the Xbox One was launched. I have no doubt in my mind because when you look at it performance-wise, the PS4 and the Xbox One was pretty similar, but PlayStation didn't engage in near the amount of anti-consumer practices that Microsoft did. So with this, it's like here we're going to give our consumers the world. Please buy an Xbox again. Please enjoy the Xbox brand again. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they really did trip over someone's newborn into a pit of fire with their launch, and it did pretty much cripple them for basically the first few years of the console wars, and they have been doing a lot to kind of get back in the public's good graces, and they've been doing not insignificant things like adding FreeSync support for Xbox consoles. And it's like, well, that's really kind of neat. But yeah.
Yeah, I think they pivoted kind of like, of course, they lost in the raw hardware sales, but they kind of pivoted the whole brand to, I guess this is what Berta was saying about it being more of a platform. They want the brand to not just be something tied to the Xbox console itself. Like, you notice all of the new Xbox games exclusives, they all appear on PC. They all have cross-platform support, at least between PC and Xbox. And I guess that's kind of where Microsoft wants to go, especially since the rumored streaming service is also on the horizon. Different plans like patents for making it easier to stream, console games to your phone, things like that. I guess, in all honesty, I think they're making the right investments now for what they envision the future of the industry is going to be. What people might want later. People will want cross-platform play, being able to play anywhere with things such as 5G coming up. I don't think it's gonna be too far now that you could easily stream a game while you're on a road trip and have it be almost the same experience as playing at home. And so I think it's a lot of infrastructure stuff just to get ready for that. Investments that you'll notice all the other companies are doing as well. And I guess I guess with Xbox, you're kind of seeing it a little more because they've had to kind of make that pivot early, I guess, because they lost the lead early. So
Mm-hmm.
I can see, pretty much a little bit with Halo. I can see not them thinking ahead and this being a great thing. I cannot wait to play Halo on my Switch before I go to bed. That sounds amazing to me. I mean, there's no good things I can talk to this about. This is a great move. I cannot wait to see what they do more.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what
It's
they
like-
do. Yeah.
It's like they're trying to improve affordability and accessibility. You know what I mean? Like,
seems like a win-win.
Yeah.
there's no way that they can lose or the consumer can lose. I mean, it's rebranding the Xbox name. It's not necessarily about the console, but just the name.
Yeah.
And that's what the studios, all of these studios falling under that specific brand is about. They're trying to basically just make it one big Xbox bubble. And it's not about the console. It's not about Halo. It's about the entire operation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I wonder. I mean, this article seems to insinuate that like they're grabbing these industries or these studios to bolster their exclusive library on the Xbox One. I'm not entirely sure that's where they're going with that, but I mean, it's a thought.
As far as that goes, with like exclusive games, I think any games that these companies make will for sure come to PC at least.
Yeah, it'll be
that
Xbox
seems to be a
PC.
clear
That would
trend.
be ideal. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's really going to be abandoned. And even some studios under Microsoft have released on Steam. So, I think in terms of that, it's fine. I don't really have much to say regarding their purchasing of a bunch of studios. I think for some studios, this is actually a benefit. Like Obsidian, they're a great studio, but they've always been kind of, I guess the analogy would be living paycheck to paycheck. It's like one game can do really well, but every single one of their games needs to sell pretty decently for them to stay afloat. Otherwise, they'll have to fire a bunch of people or even just go out of business. So I think that kind of stability would really help a studio like them produce higher quality content.
Mm-hmm. Obsidian was always kind of, or lately on the rocks. Weren't they gearing up to launch like a spiritual sequel to New Vegas or something like that? Was that?
Yeah, kinda. It's made by the people, kind of like that same team that was behind the older Fallout games. I'm forgetting the names. But you had the creator of the series. No, like the people behind the original Fallout. People like Brian, someone I'm blanking, but yeah. People are saying it's kind of like Fallout New Vegas in space, and they're kind of saying, it's not an open world game, but people are definitely excited because it's creators they know, creating another project together.
I want New
That's
Vegas
exciting
in
stuff.
space. That sounds great.
Yeah, totally.
And well, the plus side of it is that it won't actually be Xbox exclusive. That last one.
Prob-
So.
Probably not, right?
Yeah, because they're actually making it with a different publisher because that deal happened before they were bought out.
Ah,
Right,
okay.
right.
Well then, I suppose that's just good all around then. On the subject of how do I segue into any of these? Good lord.
Just screw it.
Yeah, screw attack.
I see.
Screw it.
Oh, I see what you've done there. You sassy bag of spagooter. Alright, so Screw Attack is closed its doors and just rebranded itself entirely as Death Battle, the team.
Has anybody ever watched the death battles?
I
Yes,
have
what's a
watched
death-
every
halfway
single
through.
episode.
I love those. Absolutely.
That's actually the only thing I watch from Screw Attack is their
And
death.
I think
I
that's what most people do. So I mean,
Yeah, it makes sense.
It makes sense. They might as well, because Screw Attack just doesn't make sense. Because everybody, yeah, did you watch that death battle? They don't really talk about who made it.
No.
Yeah.
Urza just got cut in two. Oh, well, who did the animation? No, we want to see how she got cut in two. So just, it's a death battle.
I looked in the article, and I don't think they're downsizing or anything, or at least I
Nope,
don't see any
not at all.
mention of that. They're just changing their name.
Quote unquote, nobody is seemingly losing their job. And we got a
Why
picture
are
of-
they calling it a closure then?
It shouldn't be called a closure. It's
It's
just
a rebranding.
It's just a changing name.
Yeah.
Oh, Screw Attack is closing, the post says. Well, I mean, changing name to Death Battle. It really is just a rebranding. I like how the
Yeah.
thumbnail is of two
Maybe
guys.
like everything else
just
but
like,
Death
oh.
Battle is closing.
So did they do anything else? I mean, that was the only thing that I watched of theirs. They did the DBX where it was like no discussion, just 2 minutes of mayhem. But I never watched anything else besides two characters slaughtering each other.
Was Screw Attack ever a gaming website for news, or am I thinking of something completely different?
I don't know.
No idea how it was used.
I
but
don't
did
know. But
I'm just very not familiar with Screw Attack at all. So when it says Screw Attack was closing and becoming Death Battle, I'm like, oh, the guys who did Death Battle are going to do Death Battle. Cool.
like,
Damn.
Well, it's just my perspective. I just wasn't. Yeah.
okay, so they do have a website, screwattack.com. I'm on the wiki. They have their own
Right.
dedicated wiki, like everything else. There's probably a Rule 34 on this too.
Okay.
Probably.
Let's see.
Oh, they're Rooster Teeth.
Oh.
Screw Attack is Rooster Teeth,
Oh, are they?
which means they do a lot of things.
Yeah.
a lot of things. Well
I'm glad
then,
we're prepared.
yeah, good job, investigative journalism on the scene.
Yeah. So, what kind of content does Screw Attack make, or what is Death Battle?
Okay, so what they'll do is there's two versions of Death Battle. You have the actual Death Battle episodes, which are anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes long, and then you have the DBXs, which are basically just two characters going at it, and they really don't like make a lot of sense out of them. They just kind of put them against each other, and then two men walk in, one man walk away. You know, it's
Oh,
it's
The main-
kind of
the main-
just a throw
the-
together.
is it kind of like those rap battle videos, but not really rap? It's just a battle.
Well, the
it's
main 20-minute ones, actually, they go through their lore, explain all their powers, their strengths, their weaknesses. They do a lot. They go in depth to the character.
yeah, they come up with the solutions with the actual death battles by who's accomplished what feat. So say like there's one Superman versus Goku. What
Yeah,
they'll
the
do
most
is they'll
famous
go
one.
they'll go through them, and then they'll find out like what are the greatest feats of strength, what's the greatest feats of energy manipulation, what kind of impacts, what kind of explosions has one taken and the other, and then they'll take those facts and then they'll put them together, and then they'll make an animation, a death battle animation out of out of the feats that they've discovered and determine a winner based on that.
And then they explain why the other person won. It's
Yep.
great.
It's actually really well done.
Like Halo, have you heard of Team 4-Star?
Team 4. No, I actually haven't.
Get out.
Sorry.
Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Like they got those guys involved a bit to do the Goku versus Superman battle.
Oh, if it's those abridged episodes, I probably know what you're talking about, not who you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Still get out.
Yeah, they actually do research, but when it comes to the DBX stuff, I don't remember if it's Wiz or Boomstick, but one of them basically just picks a winner, and then they do an animation, and then that's that. So
Yeah.
when they go into the video, it goes straight into the fighting. There's like no discuss. One of the better ones, and I recommend anybody that's listening to this to check out, is the Chuck Norris versus Sanshiro Sagata. That one is just epic. It's a fantastic clash of two pretty well known icons, and it's really enjoyable.
Oh yeah, their fight scenes are always top notch, even if I don't necessarily agree with their conclusions sometimes.
Last time I saw them, their animations were kind of like either basic or not there, and I feel like the last time I watched them was like 5 years ago or something like that.
Yeah, probably the earlier ones were like it was Cloud versus Link and things like that.
Yeah, I think I saw one of those.
Yeah.
I think that one was animated in like Gmod or something like that.
Yeah.
So I think they've probably come a long way.
Some of them are done in like Street Fighter 2 animation style.
Yeah.
Some of them are done like in 3D. They're like full 3D rendered graphic models. It's nice. But I enjoy all of them.
You're right.
I can't say I've seen one that I didn't enjoy. One of the better ones too is the Bayonetta versus Dante. That one.
Oh my god, that was amazing. That was
a really good one. It was really well done.
I learned a lot about Bayonetta that I did not know.
Yeah, me too.
So that was great. I guess it's appropriate they're changing their name to Death Battle because that's all we talked about.
I mean, I didn't even know they were Rooster Teeth. Last thing I knew Rooster Teeth for was like Red vs. Blue, and that was in like middle school. I just don't have the perspective to really commentate. They are a thing, and I know that they are a thing, and they do things. So yeah. But speaking of death battles and just fighting. Platinum Games. How about that? Grand Blue Fantasy Relink. That's a fighting game, right? Am I getting that right?
Grand Blue, I think so.
Yeah, it's not a fighting game, isn't it? Like an open, like an RPG.
Yeah, it's an
Grand
RPG.
Blue? Oh.
Oh, well, good for me.
Yeah. Yes.
Has anybody played it?
I mean, it's not out yet.
Oh.
I mean, there is the mobile game, but that's a mobile game. This spawned from.
Interesting. So Grand Blue Fantasy started as a mobile game. It's not like a legacy thing from the Sega Genesis or something like that.
I don't think so. No.
Huh. Then I must be thinking of something completely different. Maybe I'm thinking Phantasy Star. Who knows?
Couldn't be. I mean, Phantasy Star is a game.
It certainly is.
So if gameplay is done, does that mean that by Cygames, CY Games? Are they going to be doing like the cutscenes or
like Cygames and Platinum Games are working together to make this? So it seems that Platinum Games has just finished their part of the development, so gameplay and the like. So it's likely that they're working on stuff like cinematics and like story scripting and the like.
Okay. I'm actually kind of curious how that kind of partnership works. Where I'm assuming they're developing the. That can mean a lot of things, honestly, because if it's like game design, that thing has to be carried through to the end. Typically, I'm guessing they just finished a large chunk of things, handed it off to Cygames, and they're gonna tweak it as they see fit.
It seems like Cygames haven't really worked on a lot of console games in the past. They've worked on a good amount of mobile games since 2011, it looks like, and And they've only got 5 console games to their name so far: Wondership Q, the Idolmaster game, Anubis, Zone of the Enders, Grand Blue Fantasy, which we were just talking about, and Project Awakening, which are both to be announced for release date. So I don't know. I don't really know what to say about side games other than they are a thing. I haven't. Oh, it's
Hey, they also teamed up with Nintendo for Dragalia Lost.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, look at that. All right, so there's something.
So I'm guessing it's like Platinum Games taking their style and kind of giving it to this company to work on Grand Blue. Is that what's going on?
It's just another collaboration.
Okay. Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
This really isn't all that unusual.
Yeah.
Companies team up to make games like that.
Yeah.
But it's very curious that now they're just like, oh, hey, our contract expired. We're done with you. So, I mean, it could mean a couple of things. Either the gameplay is completely done, or, I don't know, alternatively, if you really wanted to look deep into it or assume the worst, maybe there's still work that would have been done, but that's the extent of the payment they got.
Well, no, I think it's kind of the latter
the case.
because gameplay is never just done. That's not how game development works. You don't like finish the game. It's worked on in tandem with everything else until you reach a stage where it's just polish.
I mean, you can finish all the gameplay, like the system for it. You could get all the tools
like
done.
you can do a lot of the game design, but you're still tweaking things up until the very end. And so,
Right.
yeah, and so it's probably the latter. They had a contract, set amount of years, or set amount of time, or a certain goal. They accomplished that, got their payment, one and done.
Is it typical that a company will announce the end of its contract in a collaboration like this?
No, as far as I know, it's not really the case, no.
So I suppose
this is a bit peculiar.
Yeah, there's something maybe behind this.
Maybe.
Platinum Games. They said, while we, Platinum Games, have been working with Side Games in co-development of the upcoming console game Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, we officially announce our contract with the project has come to an end. Development will still continue to be handled solely by Side Games' internal development team. So development specifically on the combat will continue, or just development in general? We would like to express our thanks to everyone who has shown interest in the project and ask that the same support should continue for Grand Blue Fantasy Relink as its production continues forward. And then Games. Yeah.
That almost sounds like a fancy, friendly breakup letter.
It seems like something's happening, but it's they don't really say anything's happening beyond we're done working with this game. It's just like, well, are you finished, or are you just financially and emotionally finished with
I know. I just want to read. This relationship is over.
Yeah, basically.
It's not you, it's me. And then Side Games reported back, no baby don't go, I love you. I mean, Tokyo-based video game publisher and developer Side Games Inc. The president says, has recently been engaged in the co-development of the upcoming console game Grand Blue Fantasy with the Steam developer. Yes, going forward, Side Games will handle 100% of development internally. Side Games would like to assure everyone looking forward to the title that we remain committed to delivering a game that meets the expectations of blah, 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 corporate speak. So, we don't actually have any real information on that. They're just done, and we don't know why.
That's what I'm saying. It's like this relationship is over.
Yeah. So the question is, why feel the need to announce it to the public unless it's a situation where like Platinum Games have done so, like, hypothetically they've done so little work on the game up to this point that they would feel it's misleading having their name associated with the final product for sales or something like that.
Haven't they been working on this for like quite a while now?
I don't know. How long have they been working on it?
I put years into this.
Best years of my life.
Yeah, I don't know what this.
It is strange to say the least.
Yeah.
I think it just ends up worrying people.
Indeed.
Needlessly.
Yeah. Kind of we are.
Yeah, if you're an investor, this doesn't look assuring at all.
I don't really know who it's for.
I don't know what it's for, who it's for, what they're trying to say. It's just like, now we're out. Goodbye. Great.
Apparently, it was announced in August 2016.
Oh, so this thing's been long in
Been
development.
developed.
So they would have been developing that for quite a time.
Mm-hmm.
So
Now, was 2016 before Platinum Games fell on rocky times, where they kind of almost had the shutdown? Or was that after? My memory is very hazy, so people would have to pick up for me there. Wasn't it at some point that Platinum Games was about to go under?
All I know is 2016 was before 2017.
That's a good observation. you should got it. All right. So I guess we're not. It's just also vague. There's so much reading into things that you have to do and things like this. It's just nothing's on the surface. So you just kind of gotta assume. Well, say I love you. Speaking of getting a good perspective on things and how difficult that is, right? Nice segue, right? I know. I worked all day on it. Don't worry about it. I'm just an expert at these things.
I love it.
10 out of 10.
I did it. Resident Evil 2 gets a remake and first-person mod. So,
Blasphemy.
Yes.
Yeah. So the Resident Evil 2 remake just came out. Or I think it just came out like a week ago or something like that. It's a newborn beb, and it's just got a first-person mod, and there you go.
Yes, it is great.
It's blasphemy.
I don't even care.
You
it
don't
is
like
blasphemy.
it? Does it make the gameplay any easier because now you have a reticle to aim through, or?
It makes it a little bit harder for me anyway, because I'm a little bit claustrophobic. I'm not very been good at first-person shooters. I actually prefer the over-the-shoulder perspective because I can see more. So there's that element, and obviously because it's a quote-unquote survival horror, I've messed with it a bit, a couple hours. It's great, it's fun. Anybody who has the game should give it a try. It's very easy to set up.
Yeah, Bib says he's been playing the mod, and it's pretty much Resident Evil 7 but scarier.
You know what? I'm old and I'm nostalgic, and I like my Final Fantasy turn-based. I like my 2D games platformers, and I like my Resident Evil third-person shooter. Thank you.
With tank controls.
I'm old. My crotch is crotchety. I need my video. But I don't know. I've only played one Resident Evil game, and only for a little bit on stream, Resident Evil 5. So I'm not exactly.
You've seriously never played Resident Evil 1 or 2? Oh
no,
man.
not even. No. Nope.
Meteor.
I mean, I plan on playing the Resident Evil 2 remake, but I mean,
do it.
I'm gonna.
Do it.
I'm gonna.
I've tried to convince them.
Yeah, boy.
Like the first podcast.
I remember playing the second one because I didn't get into it till the second one. But I remember playing it in the dark, in my room, alone in Colorado, with the window opened and the wind howling, and walking through doors and having zombies pop out of me, and literally like getting close to shitting my pants. I was so scared, just fucking jump scared.
Yeah, it was me and my cousin.
Blew me away. It blew me away. That game was probably one of the games that kind of changed video games as a whole, because no one had ever really done anything like that before Resident Evil had come along.
Well, yeah, it was. I mean, before then you were playing a lot of games where you were this invincible warrior, and now you're playing this game where you have to worry about scarce resources and anything can kill you relatively easily. So yeah, that freaked the hell out of me and my cousin when we were first playing it. Yeah, and it shows the video where you can adjust the depth of field or turn it on and off.
And turn blood on and off. Remember that?
No. Yes.
Somebody get their arms ripped off, but there's no blood. It's okay.
So that's family friendly. It only turns harmful for kids when you see the blood. When you're shown actual consequences for violence, that's what hurts kids. But consequenceless violence, where no one gets hurt, even though they're clearly getting extremely hurt.
I mean, without the blood, they're just a Mr. Potato Head.
Exactly. And all it does is encourage violence against Mr. Potato Heads, and that's a big problem in our country. We all know this.
Frankly, I won't stand for this.
I'll sit for it, maybe. But that's on a good day.
Speaking of mods, what's this this A World Reborn mod for Final Fantasy VI? What is this? Honestly, I've never even played Final Fantasy VI.
Oh man, you haven't.
No.
I thought you said you liked your Final Fantasies turn-based. Final
I
Fantasy VI
do.
is a classic.
This is turn-based and a fan favorite, you heathen.
Basically what this mod is that, well, there's supposedly like 3 variants of it. One of them that tries to get like the graphics up to date, because like this was the PC launch of the game and it was kind of based on the mobile version. And honestly, the mobile version wasn't all that good. So this sort of tries to fix things up. And then they've got another flavor of the mod where they try to use the older sprites in battle and like.
Mm-hmm.
It really is just like a revamp, changing things like graphics, the way the textures, the tiles are presented. Yeah.
Mhm.
It's actually worth buying Final Fantasy VI on Steam now because it isn't the shitty mobile version. You
I
can
mean,
now patch.
it is the shitty mobile.
Well, at least you
The
can
shitty
patch.
mobile version
Patched over.
made less shitty.
But you can patch over it now.
Yeah.
I played Final Fantasy VI co-op with a friend a long time ago because he insisted that I had to play it. And when I played it, I was just like, it's all right.
It's a video game. Thanks.
I don't think I ever finished it, but I
Really good. It's a classic.
I
enjoyed my
been
time
meaning
with it.
to. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they took like this muddy, pasty mobile version.
Oh yeah,
That
they like
was-
they.
It was poorly upscaled, and had a bunch of just graphical oddities that made it not very appealing to look at. It like
Oh, I'd go further than that. It actually causes headaches of like how the seams are and the overall.
headaches, really.
Well, not as much as Final Fantasy V, but yeah, I found the actual seams in like a higher resolution to give me headaches as I moved because it would be like these distinct lines everywhere, and
Oh. Ugh.
Yeah,
Software.
it did not look very clean at all.
Let's take one of our most
Mm.
venerated Final Fantasy titles and screw it.
kind of like what they did with Chrono Trigger.
Oh yeah, they did do that too, didn't they? That was also based on the mobile port, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yep.
Optimization on
At least
PC.
Square Enix tried to fix stuff on there slightly.
Yeah.
Did it help?
Very
I wasn't
slightly.
keeping.
Yes,
No.
it actually did help. Actually made it playable. They got rid of the heavy amount of anti-aliasing or whatever the hell. Restored the original pixel. It's good times. You can actually play it on PC and not feel like you're having a miserable time.
Who uses anti-aliasing on 2D pixel art? That's like
Yeah, you probably shouldn't.
it's
Square
like so,
Enix does.
that's so antithetical.
Square Enix does.
Speaking of mobile ports and that's all. That's it. That's my segue. Something that used to be on a console is now getting a port to a mobile console. So how about that? Kirby's
More
Extra
mobile
Epic
stuff.
Yarn.
3DS.
So Kirby's Extra Epic Yarn comes to 3DS. Was this a Wii U game?
No, it was a
Yeah,
Wii game.
no, it was a Wii.
Yes,
It was a
this
Wii game, okay.
way back, and
It was
great.
I remember playing this with my sister co-op, and we
Same.
kind of went in not expecting a lot because look at it. It's kind of just like Kirby but more casual, and we're like, okay, fine, whatever. But we started
Nah, it
playing
looks
it.
dope.
Like, it was actually a lot of fun. Like by the end of it, I came out of that with a genuine respect for the game. I'm like, that's good. And
Yeah.
it had like one of the best multiplayer cameras for its time. Since
Yep.
then, it's been done, as well. But I don't know. At the time, it was like it just handled the movement of 2 players on screen really nicely. You didn't have to fiddle with the camera if one player like died or got left behind. It was just really easy to not get people stuck in camera movements, and I don't know. It was just really good
Nice.
stuff. And yeah, you can't die in the game per se. You kind of get you just lose gems. So whenever you fall down a pit, you lose some gems, and whenever you get hit by an enemy, you lose some gems. And you can pick them up kind of like Sonic, but you can't recover all of them. So if you get hit, you're kind of taking a net loss regardless of what happens. And the game's kind of all about getting as much gems as you can, getting to the end, and getting a little trophy reward for it, like gold, silver, or bronze. And I don't know, the level design was fun. The thing is, though, in this new port, it seems like they're adding a bunch of abilities, which is something
That's why it's
Kirby
called
never
Extra.
had Yeah, it's just something Kirby never had in his original Epic Yarn. Like his abilities were totally gone. You got a very core set of like a few things Kirby can do, and the way you interacted with the level changed depending on the level design, and in terms of like the function of your whip thing, and like I don't know, it was just really nice. It was a really tight little platformer, and I liked it. And with the added abilities, like they would have to. I have to imagine, like this sword, for instance, which is just playing on screen. That, I mean, look at that. That just runs train. It feels like Nabbit mode, frankly. It feels like it feels like the core of the game is just kind of like, now you can do whatever and do however, and everything works out because you can destroy everything on screen with a single press of the button. It's like, you don't have to worry about positioning because the sword literally swings all around you, and you don't have to. It's like, well, I don't know. Without readjusting a lot of the level design, I feel like it's not going to ruin the game, but I feel like it's going to lose a lot of its charms that it had before.
Yeah, its unique puzzle designs and whatnot would get ruined, but it was already like super, super easy and casual. So,
yeah, we'll have to see. And here's the thing: it's releasing on the 3DS. Why are they still releasing games for the 3DS and not the Switch? This would have been like before. I could have understand when there were some games releasing on the 3DS that's like, oh, maybe they started development back before the Switch was like fully finalized, or like maybe they, back before they realized the Switch was such a runaway success. But like nowadays,
I mean,
yeah,
technically, don't they think of like the Switch as like their more home console as opposed to the 3DS or just their handheld?
I think it's better explained by just demographics, because they're trying to position the 3DS as more of a like a children's machine almost, because they're like like it's low cost now, and people will buy it for their kids to take around, and maybe if they have multiple kids, they'll buy multiple 3DSs, whereas they might not be inclined to do so for a Switch because it's a bigger investment. And so I'm just gonna venture and guess that it's just to get that demographic, to get people still buying 3DSs, because there is a slight market there, maybe even a decently large market there, independent of the Switch.
I don't know, man. Kirby's pretty PG.
Yeah, that's kind of the point.
I'm kidding. I'm joking. Totally went over.
Yeah.
Whoops.
I kind of got lost in that one. But yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
I just should be released on both.
Yeah, I definitely would like it to be released on both, frankly.
Speaking of it being released, it comes worldwide on March 8th.
Oh.
March 8th.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Very soon.
Soon.
I wonder if it's going to have the 3D effect. A lot of recent 3DS games don't. And I'm one of the people who actually liked it.
Well, you said how they sort of think of it more as like a child thing. So they have also been pushing the 2DS more, I guess.
Right. And like games like Bowser's Inside Story, the remake didn't have any 3D effects.
Yeah.
Which it's not that big a loss, but I kind of liked it. It was a little bit more immersive.
I mean, I used to like. Well, I do like the 3D effect. I do. The way it looks and the way it makes games feel is nice, but like there are too many games that suffer frame rate wise when the 3D is turned on. So unfortunately, Pokemon's that's another story. I mean that thing doesn't quote unquote suffer when the 3D is turned on. It stops when the 3D is turned on.
Yeah, you're not kidding.
They disable 3D in the overworld, but then they enable it in the one part of the game where it would
which should be no problem.
Most, I mean, no, because they have really high. It was actually like pretty high poly models, and God, if you tried turning that on in like a triple battle, you're fucked. It's horrible.
But that game's like shows the effects of poor optimization like all over the place. So I feel like that's kind of that's an outlier.
Perhaps.
But there are like other games like I think Kingdom Hearts 3D had like a few frame drops in some places if you had the 3D effect on, as opposed to if you had the 3D effect off. Granted, it was 30 FPS capped regardless, but I think
I've never really had frame rate issues with most games I've played on 3DS. Really, it's just Pokemon that stands out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yep.
What else do we have? Ni no Kuni is getting an anime film.
Right, not following the stories of either of those two games, apparently.
Doesn't seem to be.
Yeah.
Nope, it's its own thing.
Yeah. So, Ni no Kuni is a game that employed they took kind of that Studio Ghibli kind of signature art style. They had a few of the artists from that studio help out, and so they're always known to have this really lush kind of art. And so bringing it to film, it's basically going to be a Ghibli film that's not a Ghibli film. I think that's just what it's going to end up being like.
Well, they do,
which I have no problems with.
They do have someone by the name of Yoshiyuki Momose, which is apparently he's a veteran, quote unquote veteran in the animation department with work on many of Studio Ghibli's titles, such as Porco Rosso and Spirited Away.
Yeah, so, he's a pretty big deal in the industry.
So maybe it kind of is going to be like a half Ghibli film, not Ghibli sort of Ghibli.
Yeah, but I think it is.
So I've never played this game. If I were to see this movie and then play this game, like, would there be any relation at all? Because the way I'm reading it here is that
doesn't seem to be.
There's none.
Apart from plot elements, no.
So basically, they're using the name to sell.
Maybe they might be setting it in the universe of Ni no Kuni.
Yeah,
it's probably
basically Ni no Kuni 3. I mean, it's like Ni no Kuni 1 and Ni no Kuni 2, then it's probably in an alternate universe with similar elements to it.
Yeah.
I really should play this because the way people talk about it is the way people talk about Undertale.
Yeah,
like, this is amazing. It's incredible. You have to play this.
The second one is okay.
The first one
just more than one?
Was super bland. Yeah, there were two.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knows that the second one exists anymore.
Ni no Kuni.
Just like, yeah, that was the thing. Bye.
Yeah. I mean, the combat
you'll
was
see what is
significantly more engaging than the first, but like, I don't know.
Right.
I never got super into either of them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to play the first, but it's on PS3.
Yeah,
I don't know, owning one of those, so.
Oh man, get one. They're cheap.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they are pretty cheap. It's just I don't have a whole lot I do with it other than like this game.
I mean, I would
Jailbreak
say get one for Tales of Vesperia.
Jailbreak.
but-
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely, Joe.
Yeah, you have said that to me.
Yeah.
But now-
But now Tales of
Last
Vesperia is
video
on the
says that to
PC.
everyone.
I'm fairly sure you said that to everybody.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
there's
Your
a
pickup line.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, girl.
Is he wrong?
Do you have a PS3? Well, you should get one. Tales of Vesperia is on it. It's like, all right, please leave me alone. This is a funeral. Leave me.
Oh. All right.
But no, I'm actually looking forward to this movie because it's done by the same animation team who does the Pokemon series at the moment, and I actually like their
That's
artwork.
dope.
Yeah, so fix anything like that, highly expressive, I am sold.
I'm game.
Yeah, but it's all flash, no substance. If there's not a decent plot.
Well, yeah, we don't know what the plot
I'm not
is,
going to
but
reveal the plot.
Speaking of things with things that probably won't have a decent plot, hey, Monster Hunter World movie.
Oh,
It's
boy.
premiered.
Oh.
Another game movie.
Yeah. You know what's hilarious?
Wait,
Wait,
They
why
now
is
have-
Monster Hunter? Yeah, go ahead, Meteor.
They now have promotional images that feature somebody who looks like they're from the Monster Hunter universe carrying a Monster Hunter weapon, but the very
Okay.
first promotional images they put out before we knew anything about anything, all we
It
saw
was
were
guns.
military ladies and gentlemen holding guns in military uniforms, and they're like, yeah, Monster Hunter movie. I'm like, are you sure you didn't get some wires crossed there, buddy?
this is the wrong title card, guys.
They're like, yeah, no, we made a movie about Call of Monster Hunter. It's like, no, that's not, no.
Monster Hunter in space.
What great sword is that? That looks which
That'd be
great
a
sword?
bone one.
Call of Duty Monster Warfare.
I know it's a bone one, but which tree? Is that an Anjanath?
It's just
Frankly, I
bone.
have no idea. It's just
It's
bone.
just-
It's
Bone?
just bone. It's just
It's
a
just
bone
bone.
tree. Just bone tree.
Okay.
It's
Haven't
just
you guys put
taking
like
out
the
a
next level
giant
up from
bone,
tree
and using
hugger.
it.
Bone tree.
And
What's
he'll bone you with it.
what's her Mia Jovovich? She looks like she's gonna be rocking a longsword.
I mean,
You
I
think?
don't know what's on her back.
I can't tell.
It's like a
Just a-
sword.
Seems like a
maybe
filthy sword and shield
Oh no,
user.
no, it is a sword and shield, right? Is that
Oh,
a shield
this-
on her arm or is that
Oh
just
yeah,
a
that
launcher?
could be. Yep.
This plot sounds awful. Just putting it out there.
Yeah.
Plot.
Space dudes go into the Monster Hunter world. That's
Yeah.
the thing. Okay.
Well, that's
It
kind
seems
of
like it's a
that's kind of
crossover.
Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter's like no plot. Here's a sword. Kill a dragon.
Yeah, but
Bye.
movies don't have gameplay, so I mean,
Yeah.
that's not going to really carry a. I mean, maybe they're just relying on the action scenes. I mean,
I mean, basically,
Probably.
they can do anything with a plot, and they'll be like, "Yeah, I guess this could be Monster Hunter."
yeah.
We think.
Probably.
They have a lot
Then
of
again,
room to be
what do
liberal
they
with
say
the plot,
here?
definitely.
Apparently, characters who appear in Monster
Transported.
Hunter World are
Yeah.
appearing in this movie.
Yeah.
Movie. The Handler
Yeah.
and the Admiral. Palicos are in
Where's
there, but
my
I know Palicos.
Dragonator?
If he doesn't say that line, somebody has screwed up.
Somebody has seriously screwed up. Exactly.
This should be the live. No, this should be the live action film. It's completely revolving around his quest to find his Dragonator, and then he
Yeah.
Where's my Dragonator?
Where's my Dragonator?
Where's my dragon?
But no, it seems like this is one of those plots where they're like, "Oh, I've been transported to the Monster Hunter world along with my troops."
Isekai, fish out of water. Oh no, now we're here and we gotta find our way home. It's just like, all right.
Yeah,
like The
Bibbs.
Witcher.
That's the same girl. You're right. It is this. It is the same one.
And it's coming out
but
on
yeah.
September 4th, 2020, apparently.
2020. That's a while.
Yeah. it
Hey, at
certainly
least
is.
we have the date for it now.
Yeah.
Something to dread. I mean, look forward to.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a movie I won't be going into theaters for.
Yeah.
See,
gone
I
into
kind
a
of
theater
just because I suspect it'll be so bad it's good.
Yeah,
In the whole
honestly.
way.
Yeah.
No.
I will be downloading this off some Russian website.
Yeah.
God
knows,
No,
this
is
You hear
this
that,
is totally
everybody?
something
This
I'd
one's a
pilot
must
to a movie
pirate.
theater with. like get a bunch of people who are kind of tripped up and don't care and hop into a theater and just have a shit time.
Nah, you gotta get
And just have the worst time of your life.
and Brickney strapped at gunpoint to watch this movie, just so they can cry.
Bring a flask.
Since they're the
Moving
Monster
cult.
Hunter fans, that'd be a good reason to do a temp movie review. Just have you four do that.
Temp movie review. We'll have a
No.
podcast where we just come in and say, "Wow, that
Cry.
was atrocious."
That was a
Just
movie.
have a bad movie night.
Yeah, I know.
This is
Yeah,
right up
oh,
my
yeah.
alley.
Yeah. If
Yeah,
Movie
yeah.
Club were still in operation, this would be the primest candidate.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
Watch.
I'm gonna
it
revive it
come
just
out-
for that.
Yeah, seriously,
It's
we'll
gonna
just have
come
a final get together.
it's
The
gonna
one
come
last
out in the
hurrah,
Oscars.
and we'll all
Watch.
die.
We're all gonna be eating our words. It's like the greatest movie of the decade and shit.
Right, right.
Wins Oscars left and right.
It talks about the human
The Oscars
condition.
will never accept it.
It'll be so good
No
they'll
matter
have
its
to
quality.
accept it.
Yeah, the Oscars
Nah.
are kind of a. They don't really mean a lot
Anyway.
in this day and age. I don't know if they ever
Moving
did.
on
Yeah.
from one train wreck to the other. Blizzard is to fire hundreds of its workers this week. So, what did they expect? I mean, did they not have phones? I'm sorry, I had to.
What?
I just got that.
All right, I am
Right.
left a bit in the dark.
I'm
No,
sorry,
it's
I
the-
had to.
But yeah, they're poised to lay off hundreds of workers.
Potentially. Let's see if it.
Soon.
I think it'll happen. I mean, it's a lot of people. There's Bloomberg, I think, reporting on it. They're pretty credible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is
I sure hope that
interesting.
CFO enjoys his 15 million.
Well, the CFO
Is that a severance
he got
package?
fired.
Oh
And then-
no, I mean the new one. They
The
got
new one.
15 million as part of the bonuses and
Part of
sweets.
the bonuses.
Really?
Yeah.
So, what did he
Yeah.
have to do to get that bonus?
Exist.
Be a tool. I don't know. Yeah, I guess he just came in and they're like, "Wow, have some money."
Yeah, have some money to stay
Yeah.
here. We have a sinking ship. Here's some money.
Yeah.
It's not like when things like this happen, like Activision, they're seeing of course they lost Destiny. They're seeing a decline in demand for some of their other series, and so I'm assuming the company's scaling back, as well as on the whole going through restructuring just because of all the new leadership that's coming in. And so I guess to facilitate this, they're just doing a review of, what are we doing? What's everyone doing in this company? Who do we need? Who do we not need right now?
Trimming the fat.
And apparently they came to the decision that we should push more fat onto our CFO.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what really... yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I think they just picked a bad direction, like with the mobile focus.
Hey, it'll be big in China. Gotta focus on that booming market.
That's an interesting one, yeah. Everyone's moving to China now. And I mean, China's already the biggest games market by sales.
It's because they're booming middle class.
Yeah, I mean, you have 1.3 billion now people?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's 1.3 billion people consuming all your content. You know, of course people are going to want to move into that market.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you have companies like Tencent that are making a fortune right now just because
Well, I can tell you they're making more than 10 cents.
Hmm?
I can tell you that company's making more than 10 cents.
Sorry, I was late.
But
I like how that derailed everything. But where was I?
Butter.
China.
Yeah.
What have we become? What are we fighting for? Yeah. Well, I mean, so I don't know if this is actually on the docket, but speaking of Tencent, wasn't there some sort of Reddit censorship money exchange controversy that happened with Tencent and Reddit?
What?
Do people remember that?
I've never heard of that.
Well,
Damn.
considering they're mired in scandal, I wouldn't be surprised, but I haven't heard of it either, so.
Who's mired in scandal?
Tencent.
Tencent.
I don't even.
What are they doing on Reddit?
Somebody explain that to me. What is Tencent?
Tencent
It's
is
a
a mobile
Chinese
gaming
company.
company. Yeah.
It's a big Chinese conglomerate or investing powerhouse.
Not too.
Oh, I see. Wow, what is that? Reddit. Tencent investment. China censored atrocities exposed. Okay.
Huh.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Reddit
I know
just got a
nothing about-
$150 million investment from Tencent, who also... Good job, PC Gaming. Who also 40% of Epic Games.
Mhm.
What does that mean? Owns 40% of Epic Games? Oh, yes,
Well,
who also own 40% of Epic Games as they continue on.
Whole. Okay, so check this out.
Okay, I don't want Epic Games anymore.
I
What do
just
you mean
read
anymore?
about-
Like Epic Games was so tantalizing before we realized. Like it was.
Like, originally it's like, hey, more competition, maybe Steam will get off their asses, but so far it's just been
It's just been bad
stupid
decision after bad
stupid decision.
Exactly, and then suddenly Tencent is
There's
all
no
up in their
goodwill.
Gunkin.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not
there's
been
no-
particularly good
yeah.
competition with the
It's
Epic Games Store.
entirely anti-consumer and exclusive buying and like, hey, we're not going to have forums because we don't like the exchange of the idea that a game is broken and mourning other
I'm
consumers.
amused that they're trying to get out a store that's worse than piracy. Like, piracy offers so much more at this
Yeah,
point than they do.
exactly. Yeah,
It's like,
Yeah, it's
why
like-
would you even?
I don't know. I mean, Nintendo's doing the same thing with their Nintendo online service. I think a lot of companies just don't want to
Right.
have to think about piracy. They just, I don't know, by pride or just by the fact that like, oh, piracy's unethical, so let's not deal with it. But yeah, it seems like a pretty common occurrence where companies will put out a service and expect money for something that's worse than the cheap solution. The
And
free
I think
solution.
that's why Steam is still so dominant on PC.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
Yeah, because like they acknowledge the
Game Cave
problem
knows
and they
most.
address it. Yeah,
That's part of their whole
it's all over that
design.
shit.
Yeah.
I don't
They
feel like
offer-
Steam's a terrible company. I don't.
No, they're not. I mean,
They're not
they
terrible.
they can be goofy, but like on the whole, they've been very pro-consumer.
They have been. They've got a lot of very, very useful services that you can use alongside, just playing games in general that that piracy doesn't offer, or rather that you'd have to go through a lot of like third-party programs to actually get like all the Steam controller configurations. I mess with those constantly, and I'm just really glad for them. It's a great thing,
right.
Save synchronization, having quick access to your libraries, all that good stuff, and like not only
The
that,
mix
but,
support.
yeah, exactly. And not only that, but it's like they've been at the forefront. They've been like the only market for PC games for so long, and yet their prices haven't exploded. You know, they've kept it
Right.
more or
Like,
less consumer friendly, and
it's a meme how cheap things are on Steam.
Yeah.
and it's not. I don't think they've had quite as many or as deep sales as they have when they started, but I mean, they're
True.
still
Yeah.
relatively
I
speaking.
think that's
you know.
right. But they don't. On the whole, they don't try to like shortchange people or
Right.
push a bunch of things that are unpopular. And if things are unpopular, they're usually pretty quick to respond and be like, "Oh, we'll walk that back."
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they do open the floodgates to basically everything, and their moderation leaves a lot to be desired in a lot of instances.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But on the whole, in terms of how they conduct their business, it seems they are A-okay in my book.
Yeah. I think Epic had a chance, and I don't know, they're kind of blowing it in my opinion.
I mean, any
Certainly blown all the goodwill.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, any alternative storefront before they do anything has a chance. It's like, oh, okay, let's see what you're up. Like, nobody's gonna dismiss it on the face value until they start doing bad things like Epic Games.
Right.
People are like, oh wow, look at that, you're terrible. Go away, please.
Yeah. Like Berta, you had a lot you wanted to say about at the Epic Games Store, right?
We can talk a little bit. So that free game they offered, I forget the name of it.
Right. So they're offering free games
Verge?
twice every month.
Yes, they're offering free games twice in a month, and it was broken when it first came out because
Yes.
Yeah. That was widely amusing. This one's my favorite.
Yeah, they thought removing the word Steam would somehow remove all of Steam's DRM. Too bad it actually broke the game because, well, one of those files that had the word Steam in it was an important system file.
Yeah,
And
he
every
didn't
time
want to. Yeah.
He didn't actually want to do any work, but he sent it over. Yeah, it is amazing.
Yeah, so he didn't want to include any of Steam's DLLs apparently. So he basically did a find for all the words Steam and just pulled out all the files with the word Steam in there, not realizing that one of those files was a pretty critical sound file. And so whenever the game tried to call to that sound file, it would just crash and. He's
That's
like,
it.
Oopsie daisy.
That is great.
That is a great example of
sound
excellent software engineering.
It was a sound effect named Steam. It was the sound effect of steam coming out of a crack, and boom.
Yeah.
Crash.
Kaboom. There it is. That's amazing.
Yeah, honestly.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't say anything specifically about the Epic Game Store in particular, but like, just on its own.
No, it's not Epic's fault or anything.
Yeah, but
it's
on
a little
its own,
funny
it's just
goof
such
up.
an amusing, all it says here is a singular paragraph, quotes, oops, end quotes. That's it. like, if you just look on stream right now, that's all it is. He explained somewhat sheepishly, oops.
Oops.
Well, thankfully, the issue has been fixed, but we found it kind of funny.
Yeah.
Good times.
All right.
Kind of funny, found it kind of sad.
Oh yeah, it's totally sad. Like no work was done.
Right.
Speaking of work being done on games, Wargroove is a thing that's happening, or rather, it has come out, and there's apparently.
Explain what Wargroove is real fast.
Wargroove is a game.
Think Advance Wars.
Yes, Advanced Wargroove.
Okay.
But indie.
All right.
Oh, okay. So what's
like
happening? What's happening in this update?
So this is by Chucklefish. What other games did Chucklefish do? Let me look
Stardew
that up.
Valley.
They did Stardew Valley. Well, they helped.
They published it.
They published it. They
don't make games. I think they're just a publisher, also for Wargroove.
And Starbound.
Right.
I think Chucklefish specifically did damn it, what was that one Terraria ripoff?
Terraria ripoff.
I don't know. Terraria itself feels like a ripoff to me.
Starbound?
Starbound is...
Yeah, Starbound.
That's what.
Yeah.
That was Big Fish, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Big Fish.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did that.
Yeah, Starbound. Oh wow, it really does look like Terraria, doesn't it? Look at that. But yeah, so apparently Wargroove strategy RPG. They're so in the short term they say They already have the post-launch patch submitted and going through approval. The patch brings with it a number of bug fixes and other small improvements, such as a bug that caused online multiplayer maps against AI to sometimes go into a broken state. I don't know what that means, but it's broken. Fix bugs that cause spectating online on Fog of War maps to not work correctly. So apparently you can spectate online, which is an interesting feature to bring to an SRPG. A bug that caused issues around resigning on matches and fixing the display of some Chinese and Japanese characters. And in the long term, they're going to add the ability to skip battle scenes more quickly, which is always much appreciated. Ability to force fast map movement to always on. Cool. Tooltips and more information for the effective vulnerable charts, which is nice. In multiplayer, the host will be able to fill open slots with CPU players. So this seems like a very robust game.
Yeah.
Has anyone here played it?
I have not. Scarlet, I think, has played it, but he isn't.
He's
here.
been streaming it.
Yeah.
Streamed it a couple times.
I've not been able to catch any of those. Bibbs says he's playing it and it's pretty good. Oh, good. It certainly looks good.
Isn't it on Steam?
It's on Steam.
Switch.
It's on Switch.
Probably everywhere.
Oh, okay. Huh. I'll add it to my wish list then, because it sounds pretty cool.
Do
Wow.
it.
What groove?
I like it. What else? What is there any way to segue into any of these?
Well, if we want to talk about more games, we have a smattering of classic PC games coming to consoles.
There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Tasty.
So Baldur's Gate 2, Baldur's Gate, Siege of Dragonspear, Icewind Dale, Planescape Torment, and Neverwinter Nights are coming to consoles. PS4, Switch, and Xbox One, to be exact. So these are all those old Black Isle Interplay games.
Yep.
That whole collection of like remastered titles. Getting a bit of a lift to work with a controller. And now you can play them on the go, too.
And I am especially happy they are coming to Switch because portability. Because at this point, a potato can play all these games.
Right. It's like
So
honestly, what's holding me back from playing a lot of these is just like
the time.
I don't always have the time to like be in my room. You know, like playing these in front of my like. You know, having it on Switch it would be a huge help because these are big games. They'll take you a long time, and there's a lot to get through.
I'm especially curious how it's going to play on the Switch because of that touchscreen. Like a lot of these games will work great on the Switch.
Yeah, perhaps if they have like touchscreen support.
Right, PS4 and whatnot. It's probably going to be something like the Dragon Age game, the first one anyway.
Who knows? Maybe they could use the touch bar.
Incredibly accurate and well-used touch bar. I mean, to be fair, every time I try to use it in a game, it doesn't work well. Anytime a game tries to implement it, it doesn't work well. But I found like navigating the PS4's like internal menus with it and using it to pick out letters on a keyboard actually works really nicely. Like I was entering in DNS information for like an internet connection as I was connecting to my router, and I'm just like, I found the touch bar worked better than just going it D-pad wise. It was an interesting thing. But yeah, that's about the only instance where I was like, yeah, touch bar over anything.
So listeners, if you haven't played these games yet, you can play them on your Switch or your console or PC.
When?
Yeah,
Soon. Do we have? Is there a date?
No, I don't think so.
More details on what to expect on the upcoming releases will be announced in the coming months. So
soon.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is just a thing that is happening.
Soon trademarked.
Yeah. So here's something that I don't know how to segue into. CD Projekt Red apparently just recently decided to give yet another payout to the writer of the Witcher books.
Yeah. I think it was just easier for them to pay them off and tell them to go, long walk, short bridge.
I mean, they still want to have him around for like consultations of things.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And
so they want to keep good relations, but
and also I think it's partly because I think there's also two more things. I think they're a little bit too good-hearted and they're being taken advantage of a little bit, but I also think it's they want to keep their PR image, because right now they're on a huge PR high and have been ever since The Witcher 3 released, and like the no DRM thing. It's just like it's just been crazy consumer friendly, and they really don't want to be on the wrong side of a controversy that may anger some people or get on somebody's bad side. So they've apparently, I mean, the way it's written here, the author seems to have thought the games weren't going to sell very well. So they said, okay, here is either you could have a percentage of the game sales, or we could pay you a flat fee, and you can choose. And he's like, well, you suck, and I have no faith in you, so I'm gonna take the flat rate. Yeah, and so they were like, okay, cool, thanks for the insult, but sure, we gave you 2 options, and you picked one, that's fine. But then, now that it really is such a leechy thing to do, now that they're crazy popular, he's like, oh, well, now you owe me more money because you did well. It's just.
I mean,
well, the author has kind of been
boosted his sales of like games, like,
right? And no, it was books in particular. I mean, at a time where they weren't selling as well.
Sideways benefits too. And
he also has a deal with Netflix because he's leading the Netflix
looks horrible
series.
Oh boy.
I don't know how it looks. I haven't really seen it, but he is part of that. Part of the writers. They're at least consulting and making a ton of money off of CD Projekt's success. He's kind of a dick person in general. Yeah. If you hear what people have to say about him when he goes to like fan conventions and stuff, it's not very nice. He's not very nice at all. Like he'll like insult fans or just be a kind of disagreeable, mean person in general to everyone.
Well, that's classy. I mean, he definitely does seem like an individual whose ego far outstrips his sense. So,
yeah. I mean, he's kind of old.
It's not uncommon for this kind of thing to happen. I don't know if you know this, but Rocky was based on a boxer by the name of Chuck Wepner. And when Stallone was writing it, he called Wepner up and said that he was going to base the character of Rocky on a fight Wepner had with Muhammad Ali. And he had a choice of either 2% of sales or a flat fee of $500. Well, he chose the $500. He didn't think it was going to go anywhere. Obviously, it did. It went, 8 movies now? And he did the same thing. He sued, and he won. They settled out of court for an undisclosed amount. So
that's so.
It's always an undisclosed amount, huh?
Yeah.
Well, they settle, so they can sign a non-disclosure agreement, and that's enforceable in the courtroom.
Yeah. So
why would he win a lawsuit like that? If I'd assume
because of Polish law. Well, because Polish law kind of allows for some of this to happen. A copyright holder, that licensed their content can sue if they feel they're not
compensated
Yeah, for not being compensated.
I heard constipated.
Proportionally.
Is that just me? Or... All right, never mind.
I don't know about Poland, but here in the U.S., the burden of proof is different with a criminal case than a civil case. Mm-hmm. For a criminal case, you have to convince a whole jury. It has to be unanimous. For a civil case, you have to have the majority decision. So if this is a jury decided case, and it's a civil case where you're suing somebody for a certain amount of money, and there's 11 jurors, you only got to get 6 of them, and you win. If it's just a single judge, you just got to convince the judge, and you win.
Yeah, I was about to ask, like, these kind of trials, I wouldn't imagine something like this going to, falling to a jury to decide. It kind of feels like the thing a judge would decide on.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, he got his money, some of it, and he's making bank in other ways. So
I mean, I still think it's good on CD Projekt Red because it kind of upholds the mantra that they stuck to with just establishing GOG. They were just like, we're not going to do any hampers on the games that you want to buy. No DRM. You pay for a game, you get it. It's yours, download it, end of story. And then with this, it's like, all right, fine. Well, you want some extra money? We're not giving you $16 million, but here's $1 million, so you'll just shut the hell up.
Yeah.
So, like, go do whatever you're going to do. If I call you because I need to know what Siri's going to do if we make another game, then just answer the phone and tell me.
Right.
That's what it feels like. And I think it's good on them to go the route that they went, because they could have had litigation for a while, just getting the IP tied up. Maybe there's an injunction filed on it or some ridiculousness. Who knows? But with this way, it just kind of sweeps it under the rug, and it leaves their name untarnished.
Right.
Yeah, it's just a very quick and easy solution with no one butthurt about it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just kind of a shame that it feels a bit like they're being taken advantage of.
It does.
It's a shakedown.
It does.
It's a shakedown.
Yeah.
Sorry, what, Rick?
Yeah.
No, it does. You're absolutely right, and dude totally comes off as a douchebag for going about this the way that he went about this, because he totally could have just chose the percentage, and had some faith in his product and what CD Projekt Red was gonna do with it, but he chose his route. He made his bed and then didn't want to lie in it.
To be really, really fair, have you played the original Witcher?
I've only played 4 hours.
Yeah, I mean, if he saw any of that, he would maybe be right to assume it's not gonna go crazy places.
Yeah.
But
I mean, everyone makes these kind of like business mistakes when you're. I mean, like how many people are wishing they said yes to like a young Jeff Bezos like 20 years ago, right?
Yeah, but it's like regrets are one thing. If you make a bad call, that's that. But to sue over it and to press for money over it, it's like
it's like he's suing because Polish law enables him to potentially have a case to make, and so at the very least, it at least forces CDPR to maybe settle, and he'll get something. So
yeah, they didn't give him his 16 million, but they did give him something, apparently.
Yeah, apparently nowhere close. I don't know where that information comes from, but they said, he's not getting like anywhere close to that amount.
He's getting a lunch and pounding salt somewhere. For keep this PG and all that good jazz.
Yeah. Speaking of shady business practices, GameStop is apparently changing its pre-order refund policy. So whereas before you could get a refund, like GameStop really needed more bad press at this point. Like their company is dying, and they don't understand it's because it's all of their anti-consumer practices. So they're just like, oh, we need more anti-consumer practices to squeeze more money, and that'll save us. Well, they drink the poison. Well, so let me describe what's happening. It used to be that you could cancel your pre-order any day up to release day and get your full refund. Now, if you cancel your pre-order within 30 days of the game releasing, you will not get a refund, you'll get store credit. I don't know how much store credit.
What do you mean?
No, it's after 30. Yeah, it's after 30 days, Meteor.
What? After the launch?
Oh. Yes. So if the game comes out, you have at least 30 days to get your full money back. If you don't, then afterwards it's just store credit.
Oh, geez, my mistake. But
it's still retarded, but it's not as bad.
So
I mean, you really should get your money back.
So this is not pre-order specific. This is any day one purchase, or is it?
No, it's pre-order. It's their pre-order. So put $10 down on Super Smash Brothers. 30 days pass. You decide, hey, I don't want to smash it. You come in to try to get your $10. You only get store credit after 30 days. Before then, you would get your cash back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it's still kind of BS. You should still get your damn money back, but GameStop is dying, so I'm pretty sure they're trying to penny pinch at this point.
It's interesting as well because it says a GameStop spokesperson adds that, quote, we have also empowered our stores with the extra capability of doing what is right for the consumer, which on its own is hilarious wording.
So if you're not happy with this new policy, a good strategy is to complain a lot. What's that mean?
It makes it sound as if they
burn the building
bend
down.
The rules for specific cases.
With the extra capability.
Yeah.
Extra capability of
but I
doing
really
what is
right.
right.
Like the wording. I find it amusing that they're like, doing what is right is an extra thing we're giving to our like that's our special little secret. Doing what's right.
It's like they're swabbing the deck on a sinking ship. They're just let's clean this up a little bit. Oh, there's a little bit of water. Don't mind that.
Oh, the Titanic is sinking. Why don't you get everyone another round of beer?
Yeah. Jeez.
And charge them double for it.
Honestly, I'm of the opinion that GameStop would be best served committing insurance fraud and like blowing up all their stores.
Just immediately going to jail.
What?
I want to see a scandal tomorrow where GameStop is going, like the CEO of GameStop gets rounded up for burning down an orphanage or something.
Going down anyway. You can have a lot of fun with
Yeah, I
this.
know. Let's get the fireworks together and just fucking go out like a robot.
It would be the IRL version of Fun with Dick and Jane.
GameStop.
Yeah,
I don't hate
Stage a claim
GameStop.
to sovereignty.
Oh,
I mean, like any retailer, it's going to be dependent on like the store you go to, how good or bad it is. But GameStop as a whole seems to be kind of meh. And my specific store, I've completely sworn off after I watched somebody just completely with a straight face for like 20 straight minutes sell somebody on a larger hard drive for their Xbox 360 under the premise of like, since it's larger, the files have more space to move around, which makes it faster. And I'm just standing there in line, and once this line comes up, like what I just told you, I just kind of like, what? Wait, did I hear that right? Because I'm not paying attention. I'm just like,
More space to
did I just
move
fucking
around.
hear that right? He's like,
Files
yeah.
are
So there's
live.
and I'm just like, and obviously that would make
It's
it faster
unethical
because
to
there's
keep
less
your-
clutter
to keep
because
your
there's
files,
more bandwidth.
so-
And I'm just like, that can't be right? There's no way that's right. Like I was so close to saying something like, but I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. Like maybe there's some new model of hard drive that I'm just not
Remember
familiar
to
with.
feed your your files get hungry.
tell me you're exaggerating.
Oh no. This was literally something I went through. And after that day, I basically, because I really wish I'd spoken up and just called him out on. He did sell it to her. She walked away with a more expensive hard drive, completely on false premises, and it pissed me way the fuck off. And the only reason I didn't speak up is because in the back of my mind there was this possibility of like, I'm not a really tech savvy guy. I don't know if there's a new brand of like, and maybe you know, benefit of the doubt.
I want my data USDA organic.
Benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was describing something he didn't completely know either. And he was kind of misquoting a feature or a function of some kind of weird new file system. I don't know.
I mean, to be the
was
most
talking out
fair
of
I
his
could
ass,
possibly
but,
be,
you know.
playing the most devil's advocate, if you do fill up a hard drive fully, it
does
can
have
slow it
performance
down.
issues, yes.
Yeah.
But he was talking
But-
just in general. Like, because I knew about that much, at least.
Yeah,
They need the space
This
to
was
move.
fraud. This was
Yeah,
sales fraud.
and so I basically came home immediately and I looked it up. I'm like, wow, this guy is a piece of shit. This guy is the worst piece of. So it was after that day that I never went to GameStop again. It's been like
So I'm
3.5
gonna
years
rephrase-
or something like that.
I'm going to rephrase my position. They should commit insurance fraud and burn down their stores, and in some cases, with the employees inside.
There you go. But as
Also,
far
they
as
should burn
I,
an orphanage or two.
yeah, just to make sure they really go to hell. But like, from the stories I've heard, GameStop on a whole is really sleazy and crappy, and there are GameStop stores that have done like way worse than what I've done. There's one person who used to be a GameStop employee that has a YouTube channel who I kind of have watched a few videos of off and on, and yeah, they've done a lot worse things. But like anything, it's very largely dependent on the management of each individual store. But on the whole, let's just get the GameStop out of here. Like it's really kind of just become a blight at this point. It's just a little pustule on the face of things. It's just,
Kinda, yeah.
let's sweep it under the rug and be done with it.
Yeah, they really should game stop.
Oh.
Boo.
Horf.
Extra.
Love you.
Extra horf. Okay.
Yeah.
Where are we at?
That's a good question. We've
We're
bounced
all over
around.
the
Oh, shifting around.
Oh, we skipped. Are we gonna
Well,
do
we
this
don't-
one?
we
This
don't have
one
to-
right here?
I actually can't see your indicator, so I guess
This
we're just
one.
gonna go for it.
Where are you?
Wherever you are, go for it.
Okay, so Legacy of the Duelist is going to be a Switch exclusive.
Oh, okay. There's that.
That's kind of a
Yeah.
renaissance going back to the old days because the old Yu-Gi-Oh games were all on Nintendo handhelds. DS, I think it was.
Even before that, they were also on GBA.
Yeah.
They were
I think
on
even on-
GBA.
I think
Yes.
even on the original Game Boy. If I'm
I kind of like
Yeah.
that. It's like I said, I'm a being of nostalgia, so this works for me. I am okay with this, and I have a Switch. So,
I have never played a Yu-Gi-Oh game.
dude,
Now, if I'm not mistaken, isn't Yu-Gi-Oh! Legacy of the Duelist also on like mobile and like on Steam?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
But now it's gonna be Switch
Maybe it's the
only.
Link Evolution thing. Like maybe it's specifically the Link Evolution. The subtitle
Yeah.
making some sort of difference.
Yeah, Link Evolution.
I know.
I don't know what. Link Evolution will be a follow-up to 2015's Legacy of the Duelist. So it's a new game.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically what happened is they reworked the rules. So you got three kinds of cards in Yu-Gi-Oh. Basically, you've got Monster, Spell, and Trap. Spell used to be called Magic. Magic sued Yu-Gi-Oh, and then they changed it to Spell. But anyway,
Magic the Gathering sued over the name Magic? You're kidding.
no, I'm dead serious. And yeah,
That is
I believe
amazing.
it.
so they
How the
changed
hell
it to
did-
spell cards.
How?
How
I
did
don't
win
know.
that?
Don't ask me. They were both owned by Upper Deck at the time, if I remember correct. Well,
Wait, so
Upper
they
Deck
sued
had-
themselves?
basically it was interesting, yeah. But anyway, so back in what I think it was 2016, they came out with a new way to summon, which they've done a few other times in the past, and it's called link summoning, and it changed the rules. They even reworked rules that had been in effect since 2002 when the game came out, or whenever the hell it was, and I guess
Oh,
Legacy
I-
Duelist hadn't come out with an update, an updated version of the game until what's about to come out on Switch. So now this new one that's going to come out is going to be a Switch exclusive
And have all the new rules. For all
and have all the
9,000
new
summons.
rules. Yep.
For all
And
9,000
all the
ways to
cards will be
summon,
banned.
but-
Yu-Gi-Oh does have a lot of banned cards, doesn't it?
Yeah, that ban list is pretty crazy from what I remember.
Here, I have this awesome card. Oh shit, we made it too powerful. Never mind.
Don't-
Right.
Here, I
they
have
did
this
that-
new card. No, wait, whoops.
No, that was that. Yeah, that's pretty. Like one turn kill decks are like the norm now. So like each set that comes out has a new flavor of one turn kill.
Yeah.
So
boy.
Yeah.
yeah, yep.
Fun
and
times.
then 6 months after paying $600 for that deck of the month, it gets banned and it's down to like 10. Konami really sucks with their collectability. Not gonna lie.
Is this yeah, it is Konami, okay. So they are back to making games, I guess.
I wanted
What was the
Pachinko
last
ma-
like real game that Konami made? Was it
Metal Gear
Bomberman?
Survive.
Bomberman?
No, Metal Gear Survive is not. I said real game. I think it was Bomberman. That was the last game they made.
I said Metal Gear. You don't like Metal Gear Survivor, buddy?
You
So
can't
what is
get
it?
me
Yeah.
my-
$10 for a save slot?
Oh god, that's right.
Only $10. What a steal.
Yeah, it is actually. That's correct.
Yeah.
It is entirely a steal. But yeah. I mean, for the longest time, I wasn't entirely convinced that Yu-Gi-Oh had rules. This was back in like elementary school when I had my first Yu-Gi-Oh deck and it had the Blue Eyes White Dragon on the front. And I
To
was
be
like,
fair, anime didn't have rules.
right?
Like, first, it's just like, I'm suddenly going to do this out of nowhere. And it's like, oh no.
I
Yeah,
like
watching-
the Living Arrow card.
Watching the original anime is just like, dude, you just broke so many rules. Like that's not how it works. You're
I've
Disregard the rules. I have affluence.
I'm going to use the Living Arrow and find my graveyard mammoth with your Blue Eyes White Dragon, which weaken your dragon's life points somehow. And now my Septic Guardian will kill its head and you will lose 600 life points. What?
Oh no.
Sounds valid.
Yeah, that sounds legit.
I buy it.
I play my I win card.
This
Exodia.
is my Power of Friendship card.
The Living Arrow card?
Believe in the heart of the cards. By which I mean cheat.
Right.
Yeah, really. Oh boy. doing?
Telltale.
We've covered
Telltale.
Telltale's
The-
doing.
Telltale.
What about
All right.
Telltale? Tell us about this tale of Tells. Tell us.
So,
Okay,
former
that's a Telltale.
Telltale developers form Ad Hoc Studio. I
That's
have
the name.
no idea
That's
what
the name
that
of the
means.
studio. It's not an
Oh.
ad hoc studio. It's Ad Hoc Studios.
Oh,
Oh, great.
Yeah, don't get that confused.
And it's singular.
I'm a fan. I like the Telltale games. I
Same.
enjoyed them.
I don't even
liked
care
them
that.
before they went stupid.
Yeah, I don't even care if there's 7,000 versions of it. I still like them. I've only played the ones like maybe a dozen, 3 or 4.
Yeah, and
maybe.
actually, you've had former Telltale devs already go on to other companies and bring kind of like the Telltale style. I don't know if any of you have played Oxenfree, but that was created from former Telltale developers, that game. And it's very much the same, like, create your own story kind of feel. But in my opinion, it's like a nice evolution of the style. Oxenfree is it's 2D game. What's interesting is or what's cool about it is how well everything flows into each other. It's not all cutscenes. You always have control of your character, and it's like you and a group of friends are going to this mysterious island that has supernatural events going on, and you usually have 3 dialogue options at any given time, and it's delivered in kind of a conversational format. So you don't have fancy cinematics or anything. It's mainly just like voice actors and you moving around. It's cool. Check it out. It's called Oxenfree.
Yeah, I'm actually playing the trailer right now for anyone who's curious of it.
Oh, there you
I
go.
guess they got no ox.
Oh
No,
no,
but
they're gonna get. It's free though. They'll get it soon.
That reminds me of Lemmings.
Lemon.
Oh.
The way you just move side to side, kind of. Like, never mind.
Sabe's Odyssey for sure.
But no, the studio they're making, I'm interested in a lot more Telltale type games.
Right, I'm interested in seeing how their style develops. What was wrong
Right.
with the original Telltale was they kind of staked out a really cool business model that created some really cool games, but they never went beyond that. They're like, oh, this is good, we're gonna keep doing it.
Yeah, Clementine.
And I don't think that was
recommended
good in the long run.
I think the success of their first Walking Dead sort of doomed them to like constantly repeat the same thing over and over, except in like
Yeah,
different franchises.
Right.
Well, I think
They're
now
like,
they want
hey,
to
let's
use
play it
extra-
safe by doing the same thing over and over again.
Yeah,
I
but
think
the
they
same
had a
thing
winning
was good in a
formula.
lot of cases. Yeah, it worked. It totally worked.
I think now they want to use
Borderlands?
real people.
Real
think that's
people.
what
Oh,
this
is that
article
what, for
said?
ad hoc?
Yeah, for Ahak.
Okay,
Yeah, I
so
think that's what the article said.
Right. It says here, making interactive experiences with real actors on the screen is something we've always talked about. We all have backgrounds and interest in film and television, so combining that with our experience in games is something we're exploring right now. I'm assuming they mean something like Late Shift, or even, what was that? It was live action. It's about it's a dating game. Super-
Nothing's coming to mind.
Something.
Have
You
you-
played it.
have
I
you
know
guys-
you've mentioned it, Meteor.
Me?
Super
I played it?
Seducer? No.
Yeah,
no,
Super
that would be-
Seducer, that's
Wait,
what I meant.
Really?
Did I
Yeah,
know?
that's,
Yeah.
I mean, that counts here, right? It's live action and choice based. It's more a joke game, kind of, or like it's just funny, but
It tried to be. It tried to be both a joke game and then also ended up offending like a lot of people because it was
Oh, did it?
badly. Yeah, it was pretty tasteless as well. Like it
Oh.
clearly doesn't take itself seriously,
right.
but it's also really crass and unpleasant. So it's,
Oh,
at least if I'm thinking of what you're thinking of, which I think I am, because
Yeah.
it was live action and had
They're
that
really-
dude with the beard and the longish hair.
right.
And he
Yeah,
was
that guy.
He was just a tool.
Yeah.
That sounds
Have any
great.
of you have any of you been to actual arcades? Like,
Oh God, not in
Sure.
forever. Chuck E. Cheese, does that
Oh,
count?
Those are the days.
so do you remember a like 6-shooter game that had like actual live action footage that appeared on the screen, and then it had this little pistol, little 6-shooter pistol that was the arcade pistol, and it was like a quick draw thing where you had to pull it out and shoot the guys that popped out
I've seen-
from
Yeah, I've
behind
seen
the building
arcade
and
games
stuff.
where they had like they have actual like live actors they kind of just recorded and green screened in.
Yeah, yep, that's it. Is that what this is gonna be? Or
No. This is talking about like, do you know what Late Shift is?
no.
Look it up real fast. It's basically a choice-based game, but it's it's with real people. So it's like watching a movie, but you get to pick stuff. So it's
I see. It's like a pick your
imagine
story.
just imagine a Telltale game, but it's all done in live action, not with like in-game animation or anything.
Oh, okay. All right.
Interesting.
That might be fun.
It reminds me of does it have any like similarity to that Quantum Break game that came out a few years ago?
Kinda, but Quantum Break was trying to do something a bit different. It was mainly what Quantum Break did was you had sections of gameplay and a lot of things in game, and then after certain chapters, you basically made a choice between one of two things, and then we're given like a 20-minute TV episode in essence to join or to watch. It's not that. It's more like what you're seeing on Twitch stream right now, where it's a live action thing, but you still get to pick stuff as you go on about it.
Well, the studio seems really passionate about it, so that's always a good sign. I'd be interested in see what they come up with. I'd definitely play it.
Telltale was full of a lot of great people, and when they went under, I was kind of wondering where they all end up, just because they do have certain talents. Because this style of game is literally all they've been doing, and glad to see we're seeing some cool things from Telltale developers who are now scattered to the winds at a bunch of different studios.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Disappointing that their last season of The Walking Dead is on the Epic Store, though. That's
wait, what?
Exclusively on the Epic Store?
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't pay for it, so.
Unless you pre-ordered it earlier on Steam before Telltale would belly under.
Why, Epic? Why? You had... okay, we've talked about this.
Clearly not enough.
Girl, don't even get me started.
All right, so Amazon has been moving into
that was kind of
the game sphere recently, and apparently they've given us a new look at their new PC MMO.
It sucks. I haven't looked at it.
It doesn't look very
New World.
Yeah, it's ironic
It's better
because
than
New
the
World
New World
looks like
Amazon
every
Game
open
Studios.
world Western game that's ever been developed ever. It's just like
I think it's going to be a showcase of their development tools. Like if you don't know, you know how Crytek and the CryEngine kind of went under. So Amazon has their own game engine called Lumber, I think, and it's essentially an updated version of the CryEngine that they put out now. It's free to use, and I don't even think they take royalties. Rather, their selling point is really, really close integration with Amazon Web Services. So if you're making an online game, you'd be enticed to use Amazon Web Services to do it because the engine works very closely with that. And that's how they get their money, by you paying for their cloud services. And so them making an MMO, I guess, I can't help but think, but part of this is kind of just to sell the capacities or the capabilities of their engine.
Yeah, a big
to other
advertisement to kind of push their services.
Yeah. Like I think what's really gonna be the big thing to watch out for is just how well the online infrastructure for this game is.
Yeah, that's my
I think Amazon Prime will come with a free subscription.
That would I didn't even think of that.
They would probably do that actually.
Yeah,
I could see that happening.
Yeah, totally.
I'm already overpaying every year for Amazon Prime because I don't use their video. But hell, if they include a game and if he's even halfway decent, might sweeten it.
Like I'm just paying for the free shipping. Everything else is a sweet bonus.
Yeah, same here.
I mean, I'm just a fan of that time they bought Whole Foods and then dropped their prices. Just make living just a tiny bit easier, and I'm already happy.
Yeah. I think people have a lot of articles on just why Amazon, wins, just because they're able to undercut their competitors so much in price. It's people don't want them to get into the industries because, they're able to use their big clout to lower prices, and consumers like that.
Yeah,
it feels dangerous.
There was a good 5 years where I didn't have to pay any taxes on anything I bought off Amazon. That was amazing.
That's dope.
Yeah, that recently changed though because God forbid I actually keep my own money.
I feel like the devil sold his soul to Amazon.
I've already sold my soul to Amazon. I'm okay with it.
Oh yeah.
Like Amazon has taken thousands of dollars. I had an Amazon account since pretty much I got my first job, and this was in high school. So
Yep.
yeah, they've stolen all my money.
It's
I jokingly say just turn all my paycheck into Amazon credit, and I'd probably be not that much off.
it's just too convenient, and they have
Yeah,
great customer service, and it's just nice.
I'm quite
Good
aware that
value.
they're probably the devil, but
Yeah, probably.
but I saved a lot of money, so
Yeah.
I do eBay more than Amazon.
I barely do eBay.
I
usually
don't
sell
trust
things on
eBay.
eBay.
I've
eBay
used
can be
eBay
good,
once.
but
I didn't. I got what I got what I paid for, but it's a lot more shady.
it can be. They have a really robust customer money back thing. Like if you buy something and you get ripped off in any way, they'll like side with you 99% of the time and give you
Right.
a full refund.
As a buyer, you're good. As a seller,
You're
it's a-
kind of
yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a seller, you can kind of be taken for a ride, and especially like there are also a big problem with like database leaks. Like eBay accounts apparently get hacked all the time, like really inactive ones, and because when I thought it wasn't a thing anymore where you'd see fake listings. I thought that was kind of like the eBay of old, and they'd stepped up their protection against things like that, because for a long time I saw like no fake listings and people were generally on the up and up, and it was very rare that you'd get somebody trying to rip you off, and if they tried to, it was over and done with very quickly. But like recently when I was trying to find a Nintendo Switch with a low enough firmware that I could mess with it, which isn't a thing anymore because I think like everything up to 6.2 is hackable now, so it doesn't really matter. Or I think it was a low enough serial number that I was looking for. There were each day hundreds of posts, genuinely hundreds for a single day of posts of like new Nintendo Switch consoles with Pokemon Let's Go Eevee for $60. I'm just like, that doesn't. That looks strange. And then I'd see more like new Nintendo Switch in box, $35.95. I'm like, are you sure?
I'd buy that.
Yeah, I know. So I saw all of these things going up, and I'm just like, so why not I try buying one? Because every time you get ripped off, you get your money back. So I'm like, why not try buying one? And if it's a scam, it's a scam, and if not, whatever. It was pretty much immediately after I bought one that I got a message from eBay saying like, yeah, we canceled that order because that account has been completely hacked. I'm just like, oh, well, that's good.
What?
To know.
No
I'm like,
way.
I didn't realize it was going to be so immediate. So I bought from another one, and it's like, yeah, no, we canceled your order. That account is completely compromised. So I'm like, well, that's interesting.
Wow.
So
Well,
then
what's
they
the
are
point then?
protecting their buyers still.
They are doing a good job of that much, but like you are going to find shady listings. It's you've got no risk purchasing from them, but they do very much clog up your searching. Cuz like they were coming in like 3 per hour, and trying to search for like new listings with a good price through all of that was just kind of But yeah, overall eBay is a lot of shady people on eBay. eBay themselves pretty on the up and up. Yeah, they do have the sellers or buyers back.
And Amazon is the devil, but they offer cheap shit. So yeah,
It's great for consumers. I can't say the same for sellers, but
no.
definitely.
I'm just waiting for them to turn on us once they own everything. Amazon will get their monopoly and suddenly be like, well, now we have rights to your everything now. Your fridge is spying on you. Have a nice... It's just like...
Yeah.
Well, you actively installed HAL 9000 in your house because you want to, I don't know, check the weather without going outside.
And they'll do something insidious about like it's like, oh, you have to agree to this EULA or something like that to install this. Oh, this is a required thing for this. You have to sign this. It's just like, oh no, now you're screwed.
They're gonna be like, you're gonna agree to this, or your water heater's gonna leak carbon monoxide and kill your family.
I like the idea that Amazon's not out for your money; they're out for blood. like they don't want to swindle you; they want to fucking kill you.
It's gonna be a complete racket, freaking Italian mafia style.
Amazon's actually just a big concentration camp, decentralized.
Complete with re-education centers.
Hey, I can't. I can't wait until Amazon starts setting up private schools and creates their own little insurgent army.
Hey, well, at least everybody will have a job now.
Yeah, I mean,
So
I'm
there
doing
you go.
it.
Bezos is gonna look like the freaking admiral in Star Wars. All right, let's.
What else
Move
have
on.
we got?
I
Yeah,
don't
let's-
know.
let's-
What else do you think is relevant to the kids' interests and needs?
I mean, how about OpenCritic now flagging loot box mechanics?
What does that
Something,
mean?
Yeah. So OpenCritic is now labeling games with loot box mechanics as having loot box mechanics, and not only that, they've taken a pretty strong stance on one side of the loot box thing. They're basically like, yeah, we consider loot boxes completely unethical, and that's why we're flagging these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I see that one of their listings is now encouraged use, which
Okay.
is, yeah.
Those are the criteria for like.
I like
what
how
the
they have
loot
a
boxes
picture of
are.
Anthem.
Yeah.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, like they already know what's up. Well, yeah.
Anthem? I see a picture of Apex Legends.
Yeah, same.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, it looked like. Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, it's
Pretty
hard
close.
to distinguish all this. Yeah.
Yeah, a generic shooter. Okay.
So
What
are
is
they
that,
gonna
Overwatch? Yeah, what?
are they just gonna generalize loot box mechanics, or are they gonna put on like the 3 criteria that they have listed here? Because I'm okay with encouraged use loot boxes. I mean, I think that's good. It keeps a player in game, like trying to work for something and getting better. But monetized and just
I think
random
they-
rewards.
No, I
use
think
it
by
more
encouraged
of a-
use, it kind of means that you're enticed into it. Like,
Enticed to
it's
spend
like,
money.
Yeah, it's like, hey, come buy this. You know, you.
What was that
Monetize.
one?
I'm assuming it's referencing like that being done in a way that maybe isn't like fully transparent or something. I mean, because if they're selling something, of
Or,
course
like,
it's going to be
games.
encouraged.
I don't
you
think
know.
that's right, because it said the 3 criteria are unknown random rewards. Users do not know what item they'll receive prior to purchase. Instead, users are purchasing a chance to receive one item from a set of items. And then the next one is monetized. Users are able to purchase the role with real
Oh, that's
money,
what that-
either
okay.
directly or through intermediary currency or encouraged use. Users are encouraged to acquire and consume the loot box during the course of normal gameplay or game system. So I'm
Got it.
There
Got it.
could
Yeah,
be
I
a few
didn't see
things,
that. I didn't
actually.
see that bottom part. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. No,
honestly,
I
it's-
agree. Yeah.
It's
Like it may
it's
be
very-
just because the game system's sort of like derped and you really need the extra XP to like get anywhere or something like that. Or I mean, it
Right.
could also be like, hey, they're constantly advertising it in your face as you play. Like, you sure could love that loot box, or like even doing something stupid like, hey, you see this multiplayer game where you're playing with people? Well, you can see their loot box opening right there.
Right.
You should do it too.
It's very broad definitions they're using to categorize these things, and it feels more like a
Catch
more
all.
loose. Yeah.
well,
My
I
dad
mean-
fought in Vietnam, and the trees were dropping these boxes. But my God, they were everywhere.
He's got PTLD,
They got
post-traumatic loot
good-
box disorder. He got some good dope-ass skins for his assault rifle, though, so it all worked out.
Yeah.
like in the trenches, one man's like, it's like, wait, hold up, gotta open this fucking like,
Yeah, I know.
oh, yes,
and like,
get the
they're using
zebra skin.
the max visibility mechanic, and so like one of the enemy forces like a mile away in a trench pops his head. It's like, girl, is that a zebra skin?
so that's what they meant by Charlie in the trees. But yeah, I'm okay with like encouraged use loot boxes where you play, you get loot boxes, and it's just like if you're working for a certain thing, then it's on an RNG system, and you may get it, you may not. The monetizing thing, I'm not as okay with. I mean, in some circumstances I could see it, but don't make it unaffordable. Like don't make it loot boxes. If you're gonna sell it, like sell it. If there's a certain skin, sell that certain skin. Don't sell a freaking loot box. Sell the skin.
Well, that's DLC then, not a loot box.
Well, that's kind of where I'm at with the monetization. The loot box thing, like, don't sell loot boxes. I hate, because to me that's like gambling. You know what I'm saying? It might as well be.
It is gambling.
It is. It is gambling. You're right. It is gambling.
It hits all the same notes.
But like, if you're not contributing actual currency, if you're contributing time and working towards a role to get what you want, I mean, I'm okay with that.
It's a very foggy definition too, because things like randomized loot have appeared in basically like any RPG as well. So like in things like MMOs, World of Warcraft, for example, you would go on raids and you would get a certain chance of getting a rare item drop for each time you went through it.
Not the same thing, because it's not monetized in the same way.
Well, what he's talking about is like these encouraged use loot boxes. Like if the encouraged use label is talking about something that isn't monetized and is simply an in-game mechanic, like
no, I'm guessing it's like one label that says loot box, and these are the 3 criteria they're going to use. Not that they'll apply each one as each game has them.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like it's unfair to the game if they don't put one of these 3 next to it. If they just say loot boxes, then that's not fair, because the game may have encouraged use loot boxes where they're just basically trying to keep players in the game. It's not about monetization. It's about keeping the player in the game.
Yeah, I think I'm not entirely certain, but I think you have to meet all 3 of these criteria for it to have the label, right? If not, then I totally agree with you.
I think it's any of these 3.
It's
just like the definitions. Their criteria for labeling these things is also very vague. Like it's
like if all 3 of these have to be checked for a game to be marked as, having loot boxes, then I think that label means something.
Maybe it is all 3. Maybe if somebody has like a game uses loot boxes but they don't, like, encouraged use is so nebulous and so subjective. Like, one person may be significantly more compelled to spend money on a loot box than another might be in the same game. You know what I mean? So like, what if who's making this decision? What if they look at a game and says like, okay, there is randomized loot, okay, it is monetized, but I don't really feel like purchasing it, so it doesn't fall under encouraged use. It's like, well, you might not, but there are a significant amount of people who might as well. So I don't know. It's very wishy-washy, all of this. It feels mostly rooted in this ethical gut reaction of like loot box bad than it is clearly delineated as a definition and a classification. I think there is a lot of use in trying to classify things this way, but like I don't think they've honed in on what people dislike about the concept of loot boxes with their current standards or their descriptions right here. Which isn't to say I have, because it's a very I don't know.
Where's your line type thing? Where is your line type thing?
Right.
It's.
I mean, yes, it's gambling, but where is your line where it's gone too far? And that's a really weird question to ask. Some people say no loot boxes. You paid $60. Don't give me any loot boxes. And I can kind of agree with that statement, to be fair. But at the same time, games are ridiculously expensive, so
and yet somehow everyone still seems to make massive profits that all go to the CEO.
Yeah.
I mean, games development is such a black box thing. If we really have only their reports of like, no, we're losing a lot of money, we swear. It takes so much effort. Meanwhile,
like EA does that a lot, but then they're also like, oh hey, we can't sell loot boxes in Belgium anymore. It's not going to affect our sales or anything. It's going to be fine. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, who are you lying to?
Yeah.
The investors or us?
Probably us.
Probably us, because it's just an excuse for us to feel like it's okay that they're putting in extra monetization.
True.
It's like if they could say they need it and nobody would be able to prove them otherwise, because nobody has the wherewithal to look into their actual development costs and their budgets and their income and say like, no, that's wrong. So it's all just their word.
Mm-hmm. What else do we have?
I mean, we could talk about the death of future new 3DS capture cards sales.
I'm curious. What is?
Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
What?
What is what?
No, I lost you. What's up, Rick?
No, go ahead. It's okay.
We can also talk about that apparently leaked Nintendo Direct. We were asked about that.
Yeah, Bits
Alright.
wanted to know about that, but I don't actually have any information on that. What is that about?
I posted a link in the podcast.
Let me have a look.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Apparently apparently it's going to be a lot of new Switch titles to be revealed soon. People are saying are speculating also on Metroid. I doubt that though.
Another Metroid?
Metroid Prime 4. No, they're talking about Metroid Prime 4, which was
Prime 4,
already
yeah.
confirmed to be delayed.
Yeah, so
Right.
I don't think there's going to be any kind of information on that beyond, hey guys, it's coming. Here's another glorified image.
He's
Oh
a-
man,
he's
a
a
new
prettier
image.
JPEG.
10 out of 10. I'm so hyped for that image.
Well, here's the thing. Apparently, there were SNES games discovered in the Switch Online files. Those
Yeah,
for
I was
Super
gonna
Mario
talk
Kart,
about that.
Super Soccer.
Oh yeah, maybe.
A Link
Oh,
to the
that's
yeah,
there
Past,
too.
Demon's Crest.
Yeah,
Yoshi's
so I'm
Island.
thinking maybe this will be
Kirby's
released
Dream
in that.
Course. I love Kirby's Dream Course. That game's
What? No.
game's adorable. Kirby
What?
Golf.
No, where's my dedicated servers, Nintendo?
All of this works on.
Yeah, they're not going to make
on
it good. They're
RetroArch.
just giving us
Not happy
games.
paying peer to peer.
Yes, this all does work
Yeah.
on RetroArch. I don't know the input lag it's going to have, but know that I'm going to be measuring it for better or for worse. But I also
Hey,
guarantee
Meteor,
that.
isn't the online multiplayer just great?
Oh, it's so good. I like being able to have, what was it? What was the highest amount of frames we had for input lag? I think it was 35. I think,
I think it was like close to 40.
when you and I were playing online with the NES games, the input lag went from around 4 frames, local, just without online multiplayer, to 35. And granted, we are quite a ways away. But
Like we're not even beating
True.
point. We're like taking its birth certificate and like stomping on it. It's been so long buried.
Oof.
Oh boy, that was hilariously bad. Like it got so bad I didn't even feel the pain anymore. I just wouldn't stop laughing. once I brought the footage in and I counted the frames, and I'm just like, I count all the way up to 30 and my laughs just keep getting harder and harder and harder.
This should not be a thing, guys.
Yep. It's just like, wow, we're paying
Good job.
money for this. This cost us something. Oh my god. Oh, it's atrocious. Oh, and forget the quality of their online connectivity, you know, in games that aren't the virtual console online, you know.
Like, my favorite thing there was, like, as soon as the online came on, everything seemed to start performing worse.
Yeah, like everything got worse.
Everything
What was
somehow
that?
got, like, as if they did introduce private servers, but they were worse than peer-to-peer.
Yeah.
It's like, Nintendo, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Maybe Nintendo could use some of that Amazon money.
Right.
Get you some cloud services.
It's not maybe Nintendo should just partner with someone who knows what they're doing, because clearly Nintendo's problem
Well,
is
like
not
Xbox.
money. Yeah, why not? Let's get Microsoft.
Let's get
in
Xbox
here.
Live
I'll take
on.
anybody, frankly.
Yeah, no kidding.
Oh my god! You think that's why? Give us servers, please.
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt anymore.
But the thing is, RetroArch is running on the Switch now, and it gets next frame input lag on NES titles, and
Wow.
and it's got a bunch of save states, shaders. It can load, your own ROM hacks in there. It's just
Great.
so much better in every sense and completely free. And it's just like Nintendo is still trying to tempt us with this smattering of games and the online service. Meanwhile, like, forget, even if RetroArch didn't exist, this would be rather pathetic, a service they were trying to peddle with these here and there games. But then RetroArch just does all of that better, so much better, and it's just like, what? RetroArch also has the online netplay as well, implemented on Switch,
right.
so it literally does all the things but better. So it's just oh, Nintendo.
What does sense make?
It's just Nintendo. You just need to try and do something. Just a little effort.
No, they're trying. That's the problem. I think they're trying. They're just failing. Like you said, hire somebody for the love of God.
Yeah, they really
Amazon,
need to.
Microsoft, Sony, somebody on the street, somebody.
It's like, okay, they're gonna I mean, they're already very far behind, but you have Microsoft investing in all of this cloud infrastructure for what I mean, the next gen is clearly going to be very cloud driven. Is Nintendo going to be prepared for that? I don't know.
No.
Nintendo's
No.
not prepared for that. Anything online, Nintendo's guaranteed not to be prepared for. The question is, will
Nintendo's
they
not
catch
even
up?
prepared. Nintendo's not even prepared for 2005 when the Xbox 360 came out. Hell no.
Jesus.
Prepared.
I want to say you're wrong, but you're right.
I know. I'm
Never
not
mind the 360, even the original one.
Yeah, the original 360's like launch Xbox
Like, no,
Online was.
Xbox One.
Yeah,
Even Xbox had, not Xbox One had it.
yeah. The first base Xbox, when Xbox Live first came over, it was better than Nintendo's Online.
Yeah.
And
Now,
again, you didn't have to pay for it.
like-
It's a shame the industry went that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is greatly unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo, why couldn't you just made this stuff free?
Call Microsoft, Nintendo. I know you have their number.
I know you know they had. You know they know. You know they're.
I mean, remember one of the first topics we covered that was Xbox Live coming to Switch, so maybe
Yeah.
it means more than we think.
Hopefully, I can only
Hopefully.
hope. It would be amazing to me if Xbox or Microsoft suddenly put up a competitor online service for the Switch, a multiplayer infrastructure to compete
No,
with Nintendo
no.
Online. It'll never.
That would be amazing.
Obviously, that's impossible. But. If
Let's
it
jump
ever
on this crazy
happened,
train.
I would be so Let's just indulge in the hypothetical dream world for a moment where things actually go right. Where if we could actually be paying for Xbox Live on our Nintendo Switches and just leave Nintendo in the cold, like, but we gave them NES games. It's like, Nintendo, please.
You know what I could see? I could see them bringing like Xbox Game Pass in a streaming capacity over to Switch.
See,
And you paying
I
for that.
wonder. See, Rainway was something that was trying to bring game streaming to the Switch at one point, and they ran into
what
a
happened
wall.
to them?
Exactly. What happened to them? I don't know. But
They
they
took
ran
a
into
look at
some sort of
Nintendo's
wall
servers.
where they completely went dark. Because I was actually following them on their Discord for a while, and eventually Nintendo Switch support was just quietly and completely just off the table.
Legit. They're like the video they used, the marketing video. It was just all Nintendo Switch.
It was all for the Switch. It's like, that's primarily what I wanted it for. That's the only reason I was following them was for the Switch support, and then it was gone. And I wonder what that was about. Some sort of licensing with Nintendo, because they had at first claimed that they were going to have a Rainway app on the eShop, and I wonder if just Nintendo put the kibosh on that for whatever reason, like just to try and save, because a lot of indie games are coming to the Switch as well, and a lot of indie games also come out on Steam. And so, like, if you've already got a game on Steam and you want to play it on the Switch, and you've got Rainway, maybe you'll choose doing that over buying a new version of that game on the Switch. And so they want to protect those sales, and it makes sense, but like, it also kind of. I wonder how much streaming the Switch is actually going to end up doing with other devices, much less any sort of hosted games on a server,
I just want to play Halo on my bed.
I just want to have decent connectivity. That's all. I just want to have an online that works.
No, you can't have that.
I know.
Sorry.
I've come to peace with that, but apparently this is completely beyond. Yeah. Oh boy. Well, who knows what's going to happen here. So, what I anticipate is that, like, this full list of NES games, Nintendo Online, if they release these all at once in, like, the next month or two, just like, at some point they just, boom, all of them, I think that would make people a lot sweeter on the service. It wouldn't fix anything. The problems would still be the problems, but I think the general opinion of the service might get a little bit sweeter. Not for the right reasons, I assume, in my opinion, but I'd like a more robust service rather than just, like, candy on top of a soggy, rotting cake. But that analogy was terrible. Don't just ignore all of that. But what I anticipate them doing is drip feeding them out one by one over the course of, like, the next month, or like in pairs over the course of once a month. And
don't they do it like in sets of 2 or whatever?
Yeah, I think they do it like that. Like, Nintendo's got so much hubris, it seems, when it comes to their legacy titles, that they really think that 2 NES games will support a full month of like, oh, customers are going to be really glad they purchased our crappy online service now because now they can play 2 30-year-old old like moldy ass NES games. It's just like,
because Reggie's
oh boy,
you do realize
Reggie's body wasn't ready.
I can play these games for free on my phone. Come on, Nintendo. Give me GameCube games.
Please.
I'd want some GameCube games.
I would like
I
some
can play-
GameCube games if they were emulated properly. I would love some GameCube games.
Yes.
Dolphin already feels phenomenal in terms of input lag. I don't know how they do
yeah.
it. They don't use run ahead or anything. They're just really, really good.
Does it
Dolphin
run on the
is-
Switch?
Oh, Dolphin on
Dolphin
Switch?
on
No. We just recently
Oh.
got the N64 core on Switch. So like no, there's no Dolphin. There's no
And they
GameCube
have-
emulation currently on Switch.
And they overclock it and explode the battery to make it work right. Yay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that what the overclocking stuff was? This last week.
Yep. Overclocking is slowly becoming a more stable thing, but I'm not gonna
I
touch
would
it
not
until, like,
recommend
2
it.
years from now. Yeah.
You'll fuck up your hardware, guaranteed.
Well, not guaranteed, but like it's pretty sketchy. It's for people who live fast and die young. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would-
or
I
just
would
have a
make
lot of
sure-
money.
Or I will
Oh,
wait
yeah,
for
that's
another release or two because apparently if you leave it in overclock, put your Switch in sleep mode, it doesn't come back up. Like it basically crashes your system because when it tries to boot up, it sees a different clock and it just goes bananas. So yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Oh yeah, that's why I didn't bother messing.
Is there any way to boot into recovery mode and mess with stuff from there, or is it actually just a hard brick?
It's no, you can boot back into recovery mode, yeah. But yeah, it is a hard, but you have to hold the power button down to force shut it down.
Yep.
That's not a hard brick. That's soft.
That's a hard crash,
Yeah.
rather.
Yeah. That's what he meant.
I meant hard brick, but either way, you gave me the information I was looking for, so it worked out.
Not
Yeah.
Not gonna
Yeah. Hard brick would be if
Hard
the
brick.
battery exploded. Yeah, hard brick.
Shut up.
Oh,
All right.
I'm telling you, it's a
Listen.
soft brick.
Oh my! I'll get the lotion.
PG,
Oh my
damn it. PG.
Are we keeping this PG? I'm pretty sure I swore like thrice already.
Fuck.
Tits on a walrus.
We are totally keeping this phenomenally good.
Oh,
Yes.
kurva.
Whoa now. You can't get multilingual with this.
Siksha.
Kiso. Shimetta. Danganronpa. I mean, wait, what? Alright.
I like the Russian sexy dog.
I mean that. Alright, sure, why not? Oh boy, what we're on about. Is that the conclusion?
Did we talk about the Verge thing? Whatever.
The Verge.
What's
Huh?
that?
Axiom Verge?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, we already
talked about it.
Yeah, that was
Oh
fun.
yeah, we did.
We skipped over the Senran Kagura stuff.
I don't know anything
Well,
about it.
See, the
I
thing
don't
about
either.
Senran Kagura is it's all
I
about
looked down.
big bouncy boobies, and they're like, we're gonna have to censor our game a little bit to be on consoles. It's
'Cause, like-
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, no. They usually had it uncensored for like the PS4, but recently with Sony moving their studio to America and
To
San
California.
Francisco, is it?
Specific.
California. Uh,
To California. Yes.
Yeah, because of that, they've sort of started being tight, far more tight in like the content regulations in Sony, and so the producers now fearing that because of that, maybe it's gonna like become a global thing instead of just only Sony. And so he is sort of considering maybe shifting the main series towards PC, but is aware it's a niche sort of thing. So
I mean, it's already
Yeah.
pretty niche.
and it's already on
Yeah.
PC. A lot of
I
these
think
titles.
people who want to play Senran Kagura will find a way to play Senran Kagura if they put it on PC.
Yeah, PC
They'll
is one
play
of the
it
most
on-
accessible platforms. So like if they
Ah.
switch to PC, like switching from console to PC, I don't think is gonna be such a scary thing to do. But like if they were switching from PC to one console, they would have a lot to fear. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
probably not for this or this series either. I think a lot of Japanese developers have a lot of apprehension about moving to PC. I see this guy in the article. He says
Yeah.
he gets asked to consider PC, and he's like, it's not impossible considering the PC and its niche, whatever. Then he's like, the PC has a lot of realistic shooters, so if we can do that, we will, but it's a lot uncertain right now.
Interesting. But
Yeah, that's a weird statement.
And it's like PC has a lot of realistic shooters, sure, but it also has like a bajillion other stuff.
It also has a lot of their games on there. There are a lot of Senran Kagura titles on PC on Steam.
On Steam,
too.
right?
So
what?
I mean, perhaps he's looking at sales numbers for those games and being like, well, that's not sustainable.
As far as I knew, they were relatively popular.
Yeah.
I think
we can mod.
In fact, I remember Senran Kagura. One of them, I forget the name. It was at like 97% positive reviews on Steam, and there were a healthy number of reviews, like over 1,000, and I was like, ooh, that was actually what convinced me to try the game out. I didn't like it at all. Ended up refunding it, but like as far as I can tell, it generally gets reviewed well on Steam, and it's not crazy niche, or it may be that a high percentage of the people who buy it also tend to review it on Steam.
I think that's it.
Thing. But
I think that's it. It's like their niche plays it, and their niche likes it, essentially. I don't know. I bought one of them for the memes, but it's a pretty sleazy series in my opinion.
I thought it was a fighting game, and like
I've never played it as a fighting game. Maybe it's a decent fighting game. I don't know.
It's not a fighting game as far as I can tell. It's like a beat 'em up, Dynasty Warriors thing type.
Yeah. Dynasty Warrior clone.
But
lures you in with boobs, but then stays there with its depth.
The way I understood it was that your life bar was in direct relation to the amount of clothing you had on.
Of course.
Oh yeah, there's that too. You end up stripping both your character and the enemy character whenever you deal enough damage.
Yeah.
And to be fair, it is handled with a lot of comedy and irreverence. But at the same time, it's also handled with a lot of seriousness, and they really expect you to be like, ooh, look at that stuff. And it's like, then it gets a little uncomfortable. It's like, all right.
Yeah, it's like, I think they try to be a little comedic, but honestly, in my opinion, it's just kind of gross. For example, like, you know the intimacy mode, right?
No.
It's literally just a sexual assault simulator. I mean, you're basically, you have a digital hand, and you can grab anything. That's literally it.
Oh
wow. Okay.
I didn't realize that series had that.
That's kind of hot.
Right. Thank you, Luna. Thank you, Luna. Woman after my own.
Senran Kagura, child porn simulator.
Well, they're clearly not children. They have breasts the size of Manhattan.
Plus.
I'm pretty sure they're all at least 18.
It doesn't matter. They'll say they're 18.
Yeah, but
Japan will put out, a 3-foot high girl and be like, no, she's
I'm
400 years old. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
I believe it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, totally.
There's no age of consent on cartoons. Before we question Baron.
Okay, you specifically went to Baron.
I really shouldn't comment. I really enjoyed Kill la Kill, so
I don't think Kill la Kill is different. I don't think it's on the same level as this. This is kind of just sleazy. It kind of uses it as part of its motif, or not motif. Part of it's a plot device. In this, it's just it is.
It's just sleaze. This is raw.
Yeah.
Larry Flint, freaking sleaze.
I sure love me some anime plot. That's a lot of plot right there.
Wow, 2 big old plots in that shirt right there.
I watch anime. Luna likes plot too, so she'll be all right.
Giggity.
Anyways,
so that's the thing.
Yeah.
He
says these what is it? He fears it's becoming global. You might be onto something there. I mean, you've had kind of an explosion in awareness for a lot of the shitty conditions women have in a lot of countries, Japan especially. I don't think like you've had here in the U.S. things like the Me Too movement that have kind of spread overseas, but definitely on like a global scale, there's a movement in a generally positive direction in terms of making sure like harassment and stuff is curbed. And like,
Yeah,
I'm
it's not
sure
gonna
that-
be curbed.
yeah, I'm sorry. What was that?
I'd curb a bitch.
Where's
I'm
that
just
going?
saying, like, you can only do so much for things like that. No matter how hard you try to social engineer a world, things are going to still be bad.
It depends.
I mean,
the
I don't think
zeitgeist
it's
is
that. I don't think it's
susceptible
that.
to a lot
Like-
of influence, even in the short
Like,
term. But it really
yeah,
does
I
have
mean-
to come grassroots. If it's regulated by legislation and not actual
Oh, definitely.
social
definitely.
change, then it's just like
Right.
it's completely superficial. Like nobody's
Honestly,
gonna.
I have
feel
no
like
problem
it's
with
like-
social change, just because that's people saying, "Hey, shit could be better. Let's try making it better." And like having the government kind of coerce you, that does nothing.
Yeah, it just pisses a lot of people off. It does offer protection for a lot of people in
Yes,
terms
yes.
of like legal
Right.
avenues they can take to combat things personally.
Right. It's a vehicle for that. It's not a vehicle for social change.
It's very much a band-aid thing. It's necessary, but yeah.
Yeah, it's like it has to be, or certain things can work in tandem, but yeah, it has to be a change in just the public. You know, no one can like force you to make that change.
Yeah, but the changes are always kind of like the ebb and flow of the ocean. They come forward and then they contract, and then they come forward and they contract. And for like what, the past 20, 30, 40 years, we've had a real big agenda push on sexuality and, just overall acceptance of different things throughout society when it
Mhm.
comes to sexuality. So now there's kind of being a retraction happening where it's like, well, it's not okay, like to grab a woman's ass and you know say
Mhm.
that it's in a
Right.
playful nature. It's not okay to ogle people and make suggestive rhetoric about what kind of
Right.
makeup they should wear or clothes they should wear, and it's not okay. Like, but before it was like you had, what is it, artists like Madonna, you had Kylie Minogue, you had a real big push on sexuality and um, sexual appearance, and now it's kind of like a retraction. It's kind of like we're toning that back a little bit. You know what I mean?
Kinda.
Apparently, there was a theory that that kind of tried to identify a generational trend, where a certain generation would be like super strict on things like sexuality and social conduct, and as a result, the generation that came directly afterwards would be
Being
like
fast and loose.
would be
Yeah,
way
that's-
way faster and looser, and they tried
Yeah,
to
that's
kind
kind
of.
of
Well, yeah.
That's kind of what I'm getting
that's the
at.
ebb and flow that
that's
Rick's
yeah.
talking about.
yeah, that's exactly it. That's exactly it.
Yeah, I think like you'll see that, but you also see things trending in towards like more equality or more acceptance and stuff.
Yeah,
Like-
there's definitely a sine wave pattern to a lot of things, but there's also a linear pattern to some others.
Right,
So,
like
yeah.
in general, we're moving in the right direction.
We should be like
We're
Japan and
moving
just
in.
embrace we should embrace all the sexuality. Japan is awesome because of that.
Asia
what?
in general.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Japan
am
has
no Japan.
Japan is
oh,
pretty
Japan.
yikes about that kind of shit. Like,
Well,
In-
they
in
have the
all
lowest
honesty.
sex crime, so it works.
I
That's
don't
a
think
product of their
that's
culture.
Yeah, but they also just
Mm.
banned game console modifications, so I'm
Oh,
not okay
you-
with that.
Well,
Yeah.
you can
That's
agree with them
different.
here, disagree with them here. Yeah.
I'm not okay with that. There's any modification. You could be changing a fan and it's illegal. That's just wrong.
Right.
yeah, that's
That's
I don't feel
Japan. That's just Japan being old fashioned, I guess. Special. Take your pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does
Yeah.
cause like there are legitimately some parts of like Japanese society that are pretty problematic and are often overlooked.
Indeed.
Yeah, like,
Or
have you heard about
industrial side.
Japan's red light district
Mhm.
and how it employs high school teenagers? It employs teenagers to basically be strip models or participate in
Yeah.
sexual acts, and that's for whatever reason accepted.
Right. Well, they're
mean,
basically
it's not-
they're gaslighted into. To be
No,
fair,
like
though.
the problem there is because it's a lot of people who are like the people participating in it, the high schoolers themselves. they don't get the attention or the sense of belonging that they would at home or at school, and so they seek it elsewhere. And so a lot of these red light district companies, they kind of prey on that and say, oh yeah, come here, we'll give you a place to belong, and you basically just be a tool of all these people paying to see you naked.
Good and bad, but yeah, that's relatively bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not sure you can spin that in a good light.
Right. But anyways, I think that about covers everything. Did we cover 3DS capture cards?
Mm-hmm.
We touched on it, but not that much. But I mean, I guess it segues nice with the whole modification thing.
Right, because that's related to Japanese copyright.
Yeah.
What Brickman is talking about with the hardware modification.
Yeah. It's like the one place where you could get like a new 3DS with a capture card is now gonna be gone for good once the stock is depleted.
Right.
Wait, so the capture card has to be installed in the 3DS, or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it has no video app function, so you can't use like external capture card. Yeah.
I mean, with a normal 3DS, you should still be able to get a capture card if you really want to, but it's the new 3DS that you're going to not be able to from now on.
Right. It's
Or rather, from when it sells out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thankfully, there's homebrew now, so.
Well, it hasn't
You can
really.
only get so far with them, bro.
Yeah, you can get something like. I think last time I tried that, I got like 10 FPS streaming to my computer.
Really? It's that bad? Huh.
Yeah. Well, other people have apparently
Yeah, well,
gotten
it's
it
not
better.
very powerful, is it?
No, yeah. Because it's all happened on the 3DS's side in that case.
Yeah.
And the computer's just receiving the signal, so.
Jeez.
Yep. Katsukitty, that's what it was. Shut the doors completely. Yep. Unfortunate. Apparently, they were experiencing a lot of stress with installing these things in consoles as well. I don't know if the 3DS is just hard to take apart and install stuff into, or maybe they had a too high of a failure rate.
A lot of people were complaining that they had a high failure rate. I don't know how accurate that is, at least on temp. That's what everybody seems to be complaining about.
Yep. So that is going kaput, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
How is PC emulation for the 3DS going, says BreakTube? Well, if you've got the CPU for it, it's going very nicely. I mean, game compatibility is a bit shaky in some places, but it's quite good. I tried emulating Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate, and 60 FPS, solid. I mean, it had its small glitches here and there, but they were mostly relegated to cutscenes. And yeah, no, it was good. It's very good.
Oh.
Yeah.
The emphasis on the CPU.
Gonna say it's good,
yes,
it's good, it's
emphasis
good.
I have a.
I think we might want to wrap up here.
Yeah, I have an i7 4790K, by the way, so that's just in case, just to contextualize that. But yes, I think we should pretty much wrap up, yeah?
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts anybody has?
Stay toasty. It's cold outside.
Yeah, well, I mean, for certain people, it is most certainly cold inside. Yeah.
Man, it's hot.
Shut up, Luna.
I mean, I live on the other side of the equator.
Yeah.
I know.
You can't fool me. The Earth is flat. There is no other side. Silly.
But if it's flat, then it should still have a dark side, right?
It does, but everything just falls right off of that. So I mean, unless you've got a really good anchor point, I suppose.
I mean, I do live down under, so.
Oh my!
It's like I'm imagining like a 2D Zelda game is what flat earthers think the world is like.
I don't think flat earthers think. I think if you're trying to get inside the head of flat earthers, it's not going to work out well.
Your Earth isn't flat. Your head is.
We're not crazy.
Flat earthers have
You
members
guys, have
all
you
around
seen
the
that
globe.
clip? Have you seen that
I
clip
know.
of like the
Read
flat
that
Earth
again,
convention?
but slow.
No, there's a flat Earth convention, and they took a group photo, and the camera guy told them to say we're not crazy.
I like how
Oh
there
my
was
God.
one flat earther group on Facebook whose icon was itself a globe, like a sphere, a round globe sphere. Like that was their header icon. And I'm like, I don't think you guys quite understand what you're doing, or maybe they were
I
just
wonder-
ironic.
Maybe they were.
I
just
saw
doing different-
I saw one
Yeah.
where they were like, we've got members all around the planet, and then
Yeah.
they were like, think about what you just said.
Well, what they said was
Lord.
globe, and that's what Luna
Oh,
was
yeah, they
saying.
said around the
what
globe,
They,
yeah.
What they said was globe, and the next post was like, say that again, but slowly this time.
Slowly. Anyway, folks, well, I'm BrickMe, and I'm signing off, and my final thought is love me or I'll kill you.
Fuck yeah.
And we're the Brickettes.
Just like
See you
GameStop.
later.
Break me in the Brickettes.
This is hereby renamed to Brick Me and the Brickettes.
You're naming that next time.
That's all it's gonna say at the bottom of the screen there. It's gonna say Brick Me and then comma the Brickettes. All right, later everybody. I hope you enjoyed. It was
See you
fun.
guys.
Thanks for showing up.
Later, nerds.
Bye.
Later.